Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. My name is Ohakade. I'm the composer for the symphonic metal project Valkata. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. Please check out Valkata. I'll leave links to our music down in the description below. Now, even though I am obviously a big metal fan and a metal composer, I also really enjoy pop, and Michael Jackson is one of my favorite artists of all time. He's probably my favorite solo artist of all time. And I noticed recently a trend of videos of people ranking all of his songs. I figured, you know what, I'm a huge fan. I'm pretty opinionated on the quality of each of these songs. I'm so familiar with all of his stuff, his studio albums and also his unreleased tracks, that I thought it would be just a fun thing to do today. I think this is the first time that someone has been audacious enough to actually rank every song definitively in one list. I would like to address every single song and say at least a couple sentences about it and try to give a solid argument as to why it should be placed in that specific slot in the list. Of course, it's only my opinion, my taste. I'm sure there'll be disagreements. Now, I should point out that this list is not totally complete. I have not included in this list pre-off-the-wall stuff, except for some key songs that are too big to omit. So I hope you'll forgive me for that, but I think that there is plenty of stuff to go through for the sake of this video. His career is mostly judged on his post-off-the-wall stuff anyway, because that's when he really started coming into his own as a visionary artist. So yeah, no Jackson 5 stuff. It's possible that I will have forgotten one or two songs post-off-the-wall, but I really tried to include everything. I went through the Wikipedia page of his unreleased songs. I went on YouTube, I looked at playlists, so I really think I have everything, and there's actually songs here that I haven't even heard, so it's going to be a lot of fun. The way that I'm going to do it is that first I'm going to look at the album tracks. I'm going to pick an album track from Off the Wall, put it on the list, and then I'm going to pick an album track from Thriller and put that on the list, and then decide which one of those is better. We'll go to bad, rank that song in relation to the two songs already on the list, and so on. So we're going all the way through the eras, the whole way through the list, and then we'll end up with a solid ranking of the album tracks. Then I'm going to move into the unreleased / miscellaneous / collaboration stuff. And finally, we're going to do the singles for last, because those tend to be the strongest songs of his that everyone knows and everyone loves, and for good reason. So that's the system. So without further ado, I think it is time to do the first ranking. So the first song is Working Day and Night.
1.
So right now we have Working Day and Night versus the second song added to the list, which is Baby Be Mine.
2.
Okay. Damn, this is already so hard. Okay, Working Day and Night, it's so funky. There's so many cool little details going on. I love his little beatboxing and stuff. I think the chorus is really catchy. The production is outstanding. Of course, both songs are produced by Quincy Jones. This is a really strong one. I had this on repeat a lot the first time I heard it. Percussively, it's really good. I love the horns. Then we have Baby Be Mine, which is quite different. It's a very melodic bop. His vocals on Baby Be Mine, I think, are more impressive than on Working Day and Night, but he's going for something different. It's a totally different style of song to my ears. It's way more smooth and romantic, and Working Day and Night is this more energetic groover. So already it's really hard to rank these two. I'm thinking Baby Be Mine is stronger, only because melodically it's a bit more sound. You got me working day and night. I don't know, that's so good though. I'll have to be decisive, otherwise I'll be here all day. Okay, in my heart, I think Working Day and Night is better. It's just a little bit more of a unique creation to me than Baby Be Mine, even though Baby Be Mine is a beautiful track. They're both bops, you can dance to both of them, but Working Day and Night, it just has that secret sauce, that secret MJ sauce that Baby Be Mine doesn't. Just in terms of the percussion and his trademark beatboxing and stuff. So yeah, we'll leave them in this order for now. The next song is Speed Demon. Speed Demon is funky. I think it has some good attitude and stuff. The instrumental is pretty creative. It's a pretty creative song overall, a fun song, but I would say out of these three, it's probably the weakest, so this is gonna go number 3.
3.
The fourth song is Why You Wanna Trip on Me. Again, this song is probably the weakest.
4.
It's creative. It actually has a lot in common with Speed Demon, with the guitar licks and stuff, the funkiness of the guitar, but it's a bit repetitive. It just feels kind of half-baked, even though there are some pretty cool sections in the song, and it's fun. I do think the other three songs are stronger. Next song is This Time Around. I think This Time Around goes here.
3.
That might be kind of controversial because obviously Speed Demon is from the Bad album, and we love the Bad album, we do, but This Time Around, the attitude of the song is a little bit more sincere. The anger of the song can be really felt. I think the chorus is very smooth, and even though the chorus does repeat a lot, I think the chorus is so smooth and pleasant to listen to, and it repeats a lot, but you can really get into it. The verse from Biggie is really solid. Really cool atmospheric stuff. I love the background vocals, the whoa. I like that he swears on it. It's just a different thing for him. So yeah, I'm happy with that placement. Next song is Morphine. Morphine is so good that I'm almost inclined to put it number one. But I am doing my best to be objective. So if I were to be really objective, and it's hard, I don't know. Morphine to me, it's just so powerful, so personal. The vocal performance is outstanding. The overall style is so experimental. I love that the song takes a complete 180 in the middle. The strings and stuff, really beautiful. And then the finale, where he's doing his signature howls and stuff right on the beat. It's so huge that I really think Morphine is like an achievement for him. So Morphine is going number one.
1.
All right. Are we upset yet? Are we upset yet? I hope not. I hope that I'm making sense here. The next song is Unbreakable. Unbreakable is a pretty good song. I used to enjoy it a lot more. I think the beat goes hard. The verses go hard. I really like his delivery in the verses. The chorus could be better, I think. There's not a whole lot of melody to it. Because the chorus, to me, is kind of weak, and it's repeated so much during the song, I think the song is overly long. I don't know, it's good. I used to think it was one of the strongest songs on Invincible, and it probably is, but it's not as strong as some of the songs on this list. I'd probably put it above Why You Wanna Trip on Me.
6.
Yeah, Unbreakable, it's still solid. I still think it's going to be high on the overall list, but this is kind of how it's looking right now. Next is Hollywood Tonight. Hollywood Tonight is a great song. It's the best song on the Michael album. So I think we might be looking at sort of a mid-tier situation. It probably goes here.
5.
It's strong, it's melodic. The only thing that really sucks about it is that horrible rap part. And I think that's Teddy Riley who included that part because I guess the song is a bit incomplete. Michael never recorded a bridge, but I feel like they still could have come up with something else rather than that. Also, the production on it is kind of weak. The production is a little bit cheesy. It's not that tasteful. There's too much auto-tune on Michael's voice. You know what? The more I talk about it, the more I think I have to put it down a bit lower. I still think the song is a better song than Unbreakable, though, at least.
6.
You know, it's so catchy and funky. Really, my problems with it are more to do with the production choices, the posthumous production choices. Posthumous, sorry, however you want to pronounce that. Next is Chicago. This song saw a recent resurgence on TikTok. It's quite popular now. I think it's actually in his top 5 most played songs on Spotify at the moment, which is really crazy, very, very unexpected. I think the story of the lyrics is really cool, but again, it is an unfinished song, and some of the production on it is weak. By the way, when I talk about the Escape album, I'm not going to include 2 different versions of the song on the list, like the original version of Chicago and the contemporized version of it. They're going to take up 1 slot, and we'll take into account all the pros and cons of each version for this 1 slot. Yeah, again, because it's so unfinished, I can't rank it too highly, but again, honestly, I'd probably put it above Why You Wanna Trip on Me. So Why You Wanna Trip on Me is getting pushed down a lot. We're still on album tracks, so we're gonna go with Get on the Floor from Off the Wall. Get on the floor. Dance me. It's a good song, and you can definitely get up and dance to it, but there's something about the melody that is just kind of weird. I don't know. It doesn't hit me very hard in particular. I love the way you shake that thing. It's cool. It's definitely catchy, but even though it's catchy, the songs that are on this list are catchier, so I probably put it at the bottom.
9.
Again, ahead of Why You Wanna Trip on Me. Next is The Girl Is Mine, and while this technically was a single, it's not like a huge single that got like a music video and everything. It's more like a radio single, so it kind of fits in the album track vibe. A lot of people don't like this song. It's pretty corny and cheesy, but I think that that's kind of cute, and it's just a sweet love song with a cute little vibe, and I'm down for it. Like, and the bridge in this song is so good. But we both kinda have a, you know, that stuff is so good. So The Girl Is Mine, The Girl Is Mine, The Girl Is Mine. It's definitely better than Chicago, Unbreakable. I put it above Unbreakable, right here.
7.
Next is Liberian Girl. Great song, very unique vibe, very interesting melody. This particular vibe is something that he never really explored that much. Kind of reminds me of a vibe, My All by Mariah Carey. That's sort of, I guess, darker, moodier love song. But I don't think it's a particularly, it's good. It is strong, but like not the strongest. I feel like it's missing a good bridge or something, and you know, it fades out and kind of like whatever. So I would put it below The Girl Is Mine.
8.
Next is She Drives Me Wild from Dangerous. You know what? I do like this song. It has a lot of good stuff going for it. A lot of people would say that this is the weakest song on Dangerous. I think it might be better than Why You Wanna Trip on Me, actually. And she's driving me wild. Yeah, it always spoke to me a little bit more than Why You Wanna Trip on Me. So while Why You Wanna Trip on Me does have some cool moments with the guitar and stuff, I do like how She Drives Me Wild. You have those car sounds and the sounds of the door slamming and stuff. Like, that is so creative and cool. And the chorus is pretty melodic and nice to listen to as well. And his ad-libs are pretty fun, so it's tough. But it would be at the bottom of this list for sure. In terms of like personal taste, I would definitely put She Drives Me Wild above Why You Wanna Trip on Me, but objectively speaking, I do think that Why You Wanna Trip on Me is a better song. It does have more going for it, has a bit more musicality, so that's fair enough. So I'm gonna put She Drives Me Wild at the bottom.
13.
Next is DS. I think the song is pretty solid. It can be a bit repetitive, but I like the energy, I like the guitar work. The guitar solo from Slash is awesome. To me, it's quite a banger of an album track. It probably would fit above Liberian Girl.
8.
I'm going to do one last look over the list at the end and maybe move things around a little bit, but for now we're just looking at getting this list made. Next is Superfly Sister. Superfly Sister is a great song. I really like it. There's lots of cool little production things going on, lots of tiny little creative details. Musically, it's pretty impressive. There's so many cool little details in the song that go underappreciated, I think. Like the little bells and the synth work and the little like, that's cool, you know. It's fun and vibrant. But what I think lets this song down is the chorus, the repetitive chorus. Like, they really could have done something else with that. And the snare sound is kind of annoying. Very high pitched, high end snare, like a ksh, ksh, ksh. It's like, whoa man, you know, could you not have come up with a warmer sound for that? It is like one of those middling songs. I would still place it higher than Liberian Girl.
9.
Yeah, so I guess Liberian Girl is the I guess the one to beat in terms of the low end of the list, is what I'm noticing, because I'm pretty comfortable with how the bottom is ordered and how the top is ordered. Next is Heartbreaker from the Invincible album. I think that this song is underrated. The production on it is just outstanding, mind-boggling stuff. Credit to Rodney Jerkins, Darkchild. Really, really phenomenal work. It has elements of like early dubstep. Michael's vocal performance on this song is so good. The ad-libs are so funky. They really enhance the beat, the rhythm. The chorus is, it could be better, but the more you hear this song, the more the chorus really settles in. You really settle into it. And the chorus really exists just to drive the beat forward. So in that sense, I think it's a very well crafted song. The rap is kind of like whatever, I could take it or leave it, but I suppose it does serve a cool function as like a little breakdown after the beautiful bridge, which is amazingly melodic and stuff. Sorry, my phone went off there. I love the melodic bridge, the chords used in it. It's a great bridge, great song overall. So this song is strong. It's a strong song, and it's my favorite song on Invincible personally. It's stronger than Unbreakable. This song is going to go up pretty high. I'm going to put it above Hollywood Tonight.
6.
I won't put it above Speed Demon. It's hard to beat Speed Demon. Heartbreaker nearly did it, but I do acknowledge that it's a very repetitive track if you're not really into that kind of thing, so I would hesitate to put it higher than that. Speed Demon has a bit more variety in the broader picture, while Heartbreaker has a lot of variety in the smaller details in the production. So the next song is I Like the Way You Love Me. Really nice, catchy, I suppose mid-tempo ballad / pop song, cute lyrics. It's quite simplistic, but the melody is it's such an earworm. I actually prefer the version that was released on the Ultimate Collection box set rather than the version that is on the Michael album, but they're both pretty cool. I suppose I'll get to the point, which is that this is a strong song and it deserves to be somewhere middle on the list. I put it just above Unbreakable and after Liberian Girl.
12.
The next song is Loving You from the Escape album. Another very strong song, very underrated, very smooth, beautiful vocal performance from Michael. This one deserves to be up there. I would probably put it above I Like the Way You Love Me, just above here, right there, like that.
12.
Loving you, that's what I wanna do. Loving you. It's good. It's good stuff. I'm starting to wonder if DS is a bit high. Okay, I'm gonna move DS down. As much as I love that song, I'm doing my best to think objectively. So I would probably put that song here.
12.
Yeah. Next song is Off the Wall. Life is so bad at all. Live life off the wall. Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm not crazy about this song, I'll be honest. It's got some good moments. It's got some good melodies, some good harmonies and stuff. But I think Off the Wall has better, more funkier tracks. But it's still pretty solid. I would probably put it here. Yeah.
10.
There you go. One thing about Off the Wall is it does have a really strong bridge. I love the bridge in it as well. But I think that's a solid placement for now. The next is Human Nature. This one is definitely one that people love. It's probably gonna go right there up above Baby Be Mine. Below Baby Be Mine. It's a beautiful song and stuff.
4.
But I do think Baby Be Mine is just a little bit stronger. Yeah, Human Nature has some beautiful little guitar parts, and the melody is obviously beautiful. It's very romantic, and his falsetto part is iconic. I just prefer Baby Be Mine. I honestly think Baby Be Mine is a little bit stronger. The next song is Just Good Friends from the Bad album. This is a really nice song. I like the energy. I like the interplay between Michael and Stevie's vocals, but I think it's commonly agreed upon that this is not like Michael's best song ever or anything, but it's cool to put on now and then, but no one is going to be fighting for this song to be high on the list. I think we could safely put this song low right here.
19.
above Why You Wanna Trip on Me. The next song is Can't Let Her Get Away. This is a weird one. Definitely a weird song. It's funky, it's incredibly funky, and he really goes off on his ad-libs and stuff on this song, with his like gasps and his rasps and stuff. The chorus is, it's bizarre, but I like it. I do like it. It's just a little bit of a mishmash of different stuff, which is why it's not considered his most memorable, but definitely funky, definitely fun. I put it above Just Good Friends. The next song is Money. Definitely a creative song. I think Boyz II Men did the background vocals on this. I like that he has like some spoken word parts in this song. The beat in the verses is quite sparse compared to the larger chorus, which is very catchy. Many years ago I would have put DS above it, but now I'm kind of acknowledging how Money is really like one of those timeless pops. The message is also quite poignant. Honestly, I think it fits right above DS.
14.
And I'm not sure if I'm putting them together just because I am familiar with them being together on the album, but I think that works. The next song is Ghosts, which is a really great song. I love the atmosphere of it, the ghoulish vocal lines. I like how Michael's falsetto creates this kind of like creepy, ghostly persona. Just compositionally, it's very sound. My only thing about it is that the production is questionable. Again, the drum beat, the snare is kind of odd. Could have had a lot more impact than that. Where would I put this song? I think I'd put it on the high end, to be honest. I'm gonna put it below Off the Wall, above Liberian Girl.
12.
The next song is Break of Dawn. This is a very smooth, sexy, slow jam, you could say. I like the theme of like dawn and the birds singing and walking in the park, and it's very romantic. The vocal performance is very strong from Michael. I think the song is let down a little bit by the chorus, and the chorus is repeated way too many times. Like, this song didn't need to be this long at all. However, I do recognize that it is a favorite from Invincible. It does stand out nicely in the track list compared to some of the more, I suppose, generic offerings that album has. I put it above Unbreakable, I guess.
18.
I can't, with a good conscience, put it above I Like the Way You Love Me, because I really like the simplicity of I Like the Way You Love Me, and I think it's just a little bit more compact and well made. So I can put Break of Dawn right there, just below I Like the Way You Love Me. The next song is Best of Joy. Sorry, this needs to be extended a bit. This is just kind of, it's cute, I think it's kind of overly sweet. There's not really a whole lot going for the song except for the very sweet lyrics and melody. It could be overly sweet and cloying, but I do like how he gets to explore a little bit of his lower end of his range in this song. But overall, the song is not particularly notable otherwise. I'd put it down quite low, actually. I would probably put it at the very bottom.
26.
I feel like it wasn't released for a reason. And that reason is not because it's a bad song, it's just that compared to the other songs available, just wasn't cutting it. The next song is A Place with No Name. This is a really good song, really strong song. I know that he sampled the chanting part a little bit. Can't remember the original song, but basically the rest of the song is original. The verses, the lyrics, the actual chorus, it's all original. It's beautifully sung. There's a really cool storytelling vibe in the lyrics, and the bridge is just sublime. His vocal performance in the bridge, it's powerful, sublime, iconic, the moment, all the rest. So this song is going to be placed pretty high. Put it right here.
8.
Well done, A Place with No Name. Good job. The next song is Girlfriend from Off the Wall. A lot of people really dislike this song, and I can understand why. It does have that sort of same thing that Best of Joy has, which is that clawing sweetness that is a little bit adolescent or childish. But personally, I like this song because the simplicity of it. It's just a simple nice little whatever bop. I think Paul McCartney wrote it, and I can see that it was just intended as a silly little pop song, and I like that it kind of knows what it is, and the production is beautiful. I wouldn't rate it super high, but it's definitely not his worst song by any means, and it's definitely not even the worst song on Off the Wall, to be honest, and we'll get to that. I put it just above Why You Wanna Trip on Me.
25.
The next song is Pretty Young Thing, and this is a big song recently. I feel like it wasn't quite as big before his death. In recent years became huge. It's a bop for sure. I like that the song has a sense of humor. It's very light and bouncy. The little call and response in the bridge with the girls that featured Janet. Janet was among those girls singing in that moment, by the way. It's cute, very cool. BYT! Like, that's nice. It's punchy, it's catchy and creative. So this song deserves to be up there for sure. Definitely above The Girl Is Mine and Hollywood Tonight. This song is going up high. It's going up high. You know, it's a Thriller track. All these Thriller tracks are pretty high so far. I don't know if I can put it above Morphine. I don't think I would put it above Working Day and Night either, but I would definitely put it above Baby Be Mine.
3.
The next song is I Just Can't Stop Loving You from Bad. Real talk, this song is not that strong. It has some good movement to it. The chorus is certainly catchy, but I honestly don't really think that there's much chemistry between Sieda's voice and Michael's. Feels like she's unnecessary in the song, as beautiful a voice as she has. The thing is, Michael is such a high tenor that I feel like the duets that he sings with women, they seem a little bit pointless because there's not a whole lot of contrast there. But she did contribute. I believe she wrote Man in the Mirror, so in that sense she deserves to be on any song she wants because she contributed that, but we'll get to that song. But I Just Can't Stop Loving You, some nice moments, but overall weak. I would say weaker than Just Good Friends, to be honest. I guess it's better than these. Okay, so I'm gonna put it just below Girlfriend.
27.
The next song is Keep the Faith from Dangerous. The message of this song is strong, but I think that the dynamics, let me put it this way, the distribution of energy throughout the song is not well thought out in my opinion. I feel like it's always hovering around the same level of energy. It's not like it starts off slow and then builds to some huge climax. The climax is reached quite early within the first chorus, and then it doesn't really develop too far beyond that. That said, there are some really cool parts with the gospel choir, especially towards the end. Michael's ad-libs are pretty crazy, but I think that as far as his songs that incorporate gospel choirs, this would be one of the weaker ones. So again, it is one of those kind of middling songs, I would say. We're gonna put it just below Just Good Friends.
26.
All of the songs above that are definitely better than it. The next song is Come Together from History, which is a cover of the Beatles classic. I love this cover. Now that said, I haven't really listened to the Beatles original much at all. Only like in the background I might have heard it. I've never been that curious about it. This song might as well be an original Michael Jackson song to me. And as far as that goes, I think it's a banger. I absolutely love it. I love the heavy beat. I love the guitar riffs, especially. I think the production's really solid. If you ever get a chance to look up the extended version of this song, I would definitely do that because Michael really goes off on the ad-libs, and it's just epic. It's a banger. So this is a strong one for sure. Okay, I'm gonna put it after Break of Dawn.
21.
For now, because this is kind of a hard song to place for me, but I think After Break of Dawn works. Next is It Scary? And this might be easy enough to rank since it shares the verse with Ghosts. And I think overall the tone of the song and the quality of the song is very similar to Ghosts. The only question is which song is better. I think this song is better. I think Is It Scary? It's a little bit more sophisticated and elaborate. There's a little bit more going on in the composition and with Michael's vocal performance. So I would rate this song a little bit more highly, probably even more highly than Superfly Sister. Would I? I don't know about that actually. Maybe just below Superfly Sister. Honestly, it's better than The Girl Is Mine in Hollywood Tonight though. Is it? This is where it starts getting hard. Okay, I'm gonna put this above The Girl Is Mine.
11.
It's so hard to judge two different songs side by side when the styles and the production and the songwriting, everything is so different, but that's the challenge that we have today, so I'm sticking to it. The next song is Invincible, a title track. Yeah, not the best song, certainly groovy, certainly has some nice moments, both instrumentally and vocally, but overall it's pretty mid. I wouldn't say it's underrated, I wouldn't say it's overrated, I would say it's just rated. We're gonna put it somewhere in the middle bottom probably. This one is gonna go down pretty low, to be honest. It's better than Best of Joy at least, but it's not better than She Drives Me Wild. So this puppy is going here.
33.
The next song is I Can't Make It Another Day off the Michael album. This song is pretty weak. The chorus is great. This song is all about the chorus, which is strong, but otherwise this one is weak. It's going at the very bottom, very bottom.
35.
The next song is Do You Know Where Your Children Are? This is an interesting one. I really enjoy the verses in this song. I like Michael's vocal delivery. It has a cool, there's somewhat of a New Jack Swing thing going on. I'm not sure if this song was recorded during the Dangerous sessions or not. I guess there's like some sort of social commentary thing in there going on. You know, the lyrics are a little weird. I appreciate the message, but the lyrics are a little weird. It's like, what is the sentiment exactly? I can see why he put it in the bin, but it's definitely, it's solid. You know, it's enjoyable, but I would never really put it on. I think the contemporized version on Escape is particularly weak. The earlier straight up demo is much stronger. It does have that old school sort of early 90s MJ feeling, which is very enjoyable. I would put it maybe above Invincible and below She Drives Me Wild.
33.
The next song is I Can't Help It from Off the Wall. This song, in my opinion, is the weakest song on Off the Wall. I really enjoy the verses and how Michael sings them, but the chorus is really, it's just a bad chorus. Like, there's like no musicality to it at all. It's very stiff, and I could never get into it, and I'm sure a lot of people would agree with me here. So I Can't Help It is definitely weak, even though it does have some redeeming qualities and the general vibe of it. I really can't get past that chorus. I'd put it pretty low, below Invincible.
35.
Because I enjoy Invincible more than I can enjoy I Can't Help It. Next we have The Lady in My Life, another smooth, slow jam. Very cool. Listen to your heart. It has that really classic feeling, classic love song. It's very nice. Probably deserves to be pretty high, even though I personally am not crazy about it. I do recognize that a lot of people are quite in love with this one. Like the, ooh girl, let me keep you warm. That's a pretty neat idea. Pretty fun to listen to. But I would prefer like Break of Dawn, a song like Break of Dawn, which is a little bit more, I don't know. It's this one's hard. Okay, yeah, I would put it just above Superfly Sister.
13.
Strong, definitely strong. Next we have Another Part of Me, which is one of the earliest songs that I remember playing on repeat as a child. So I rate this song very highly. It's very funky. I remember hearing that funny story about how Quincy and Michael's friend like danced to it more than Streetwalker, and that's why it was left on the album or something like that. So I can definitely see it. It's a banger. It's very, very cool song, very unique sounding. The rhythm, the groove. So this one's going up there. I would put it above Working Day and Night.
2.
It's just that good. Next we have Gone Too Soon. It's a beautiful, beautiful ballad, absolutely gorgeous. The vocals on this thing are crazy good. Beautiful composition, beautiful songwriting, beautiful dynamics. Underrated for sure. Now, as good as it is, a lot of the stuff that I'm looking at is better. It's gonna go above Liberian Girl.
18.
I feel good about that. Next we have Tabloid Junkie. Banger of a song, really neat. Everything about this song is so cool. The message, the harmonies, the funky beatboxing, just quintessential MJ. And the passion, the power in his voice is hypnotic. I just love it. I would also rate this one pretty highly. Yeah, it's strong. It's better than Human Nature, okay? I said it.
6.
It just is. There's a lot going on in that song. It's very creative. The way it's built and stuff, it beats the simplicity of Human Nature. In my opinion, that's my argument, I guess. Next we have Heaven Can Wait. Heaven Can Wait is another song that curiously just blew up on TikTok recently, and I don't say curious because I think it's a bad song. It's just that it's so random. It's such a deep cut on Invincible. Someone just had the idea to throw it on TikTok and do a thing with it, and it's popular, and I'm glad because it's a great song. I think that the production and everything on this song is really cool. What I'm not entirely crazy about is the sound of the drum seems overly aggressive considering the general vibe. It could have been a warmer drum sound, and his ad-libs, and it's very rare that I say this, but I think his ad-libs on this song are a little over the top considering how smooth the song is supposed to be. He sounded maybe a little bit uncomfortable or overdoing it, or maybe not feeling the song entirely, because the ad-libs, to me, they don't exactly fit what's going on. Something sounds a bit off with that. So I guess it's a minor nitpick because everything else about the song is great. I think the lyrics are cute, and his clean vocals are nice. Just the screaming vocals are a little bit much, I found. I would probably put it a little bit lower, probably lower than Break of Dawn. Where's Break of Dawn? Yeah, it's gonna be better than Get on the Floor. How about that?
29.
The next track is Behind the Mask. This is an interesting one because at first glance it seems like a pretty good song, but I don't think it has it doesn't have particularly good staying power. There's not much of a chorus there to speak of. So yeah, I can see why it wasn't released. So I'm gonna put this one reasonably low as well. I'm noticing that a lot of Michael's songs are ending up at the very bottom, and I guess it makes sense, you know. But out of those three, it's definitely the best one, so...
41.
Yeah. The next song is Blue Gangsta, and honestly, this song is not good. It has some good moments, like I think there are parts of the verses and stuff that are cool. His ad-libs are pretty cool as well, like pretty impactful. They go well with the music. There was like a leaked version that had better ad-libs than the versions on the Escape album. And I don't know where it went to, because it was pretty cool. But this song really just, it doesn't hold up. I'm gonna put it at the very bottom. It pains me to do so because, again, I do quite enjoy that early leaked version, but I haven't heard it in so long that I can't, with good conscience, put it any higher than this.
44.
Next song is It's the Falling in Love, and this is a really lovely song. I love the energy of it. It's very happy, very joyous, really makes you feel good, just puts a smile on your face. Not the strongest song on Off the Wall, but it's a really nice song. I really do enjoy it. I would put it below Off the Wall. I don't think it's as interesting as Loving You. See, yeah, the thing is, even though it is happy and stuff, musically there are other songs that are more interesting, but I'll put it above DS.
23.
The next song is Dangerous, title track. Very interesting song. I guess it has that thing in common with Money, where it's a spoken word verse and a sort of soaring chorus. Again, I think the drum sound in this one is a little bit strange. That it's not very musical. It sounds a little strange to my ears, and I never got past it in the decades of listening to this song, so it's not one of my favorites from Dangerous. There is something cool about it, something creative about this song that I can't put my finger on. It is going towards the bottom, but not like the very bottom. It's going here.
34.
Just above Keep the Faith. The next song is Too Bad. This is another banger from the History album. Very strong song, very funky. I love the harmonies in this track. I love the aggression, I love the atmospheric intro. Objectively speaking, if I take off my nostalgia goggles, this song is a little bit one-dimensional. It would have been nice if there was something a little bit more melodic included here and there, like maybe some sort of nice bridge or a softer part just as a break from the intensity. But I would still rate it pretty highly. Looking at the songs that we have here, I would put it above Hollywood Tonight and under A Place With No Name.
12.
The next song is Butterflies. Beautiful, beautiful butterflies. This song is so nice, so lovely, such a beautiful creation. Beautiful vocals, gorgeous production. Love the vocal harmonies. The little sprinkles of the female vocal in there is very nice as well. I love the little record crackling during the intro. Like little touches like that really elevate a song and really pull you in. So that's a strong one. It's going high up there. It's better than This Time Around, but it's not quite as good as Human Nature.
8.
Pretty good, well deserved. Next we have Much Too Soon from the Michael album. This song is quite beautiful, actually. There's a little bit of a country vibe to it. You can tell that there's a little bit of a story in the lyrics there. Yeah, it's an odd, folksy sort of country influence that is very uncommon in his music, and that's why this song intrigues me so much. And it's why I'm gonna rate it pretty highly, actually. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is that I'm not including the Cascio tracks in this list. Those tracks being Keep Your Head Up, Monster, and Breaking News, because that's not Michael's singing. That's not Michael's vocals. And I always knew that the first time I heard Breaking News. I was like, this is not Michael singing. Come on. It took a while for it to come to light that it's really not him singing. So there's no point in including them on this list. Even though I would say Monster in particular is a pretty good song, it doesn't excuse it from being included on an album that's supposed to be a posthumous release. It was such a disrespectful, nasty, dirty thing to do to Michael's fans and his legacy. So that was utterly shocking. But anyway, I'm not going to go off on that for too long. So those songs aren't going to make it. So back to Much Too Soon. One of the strongest songs, if not the strongest song on Michael. I don't think it is the strongest song. I think it's second to Hollywood Tonight. Is it better than Gone Too Soon? No. Is it better than Liberian Girl? No. I think it's better than It's the Falling in Love. Is it? I think it is. I think it's more touching than It's the Falling in Love. So I'm going to put it there. Yeah, how about that?
25.
Take away this never-ending sorrow. Like, come on, that's just so touching and like really moves you. I love it. The next song is Escape, and I love this song. It's so good. The contemporized version is not it. I'm sorry. It's just not good. It completely ruins the atmosphere and the vibe of the original. Like, the original version goes hard. It has that signature MJ attitude, really cool textures in the production and stuff. It's just really strong, really groovy, funky. I'm so into it. I don't know why it was left off of Invincible. To be honest, it could have replaced a number of songs on that album. So as far as the original version of Escape goes, it's high up there. One thing that is unfortunate about it is how long it goes on for. It goes on for a little bit too long. One small detail that I must complain about is that in the original leaked version, the strings in the chorus don't appear until the second half of the chorus, which is what I prefer actually, because it was more of a development. But in the so-called original version released on the Escape album, the strings kick in right away as soon as the chorus hits, and I don't like that, but it's just a little detail. I like the sparsity of Michael's vocals in the chorus with just the drum beat. It's a really cool effect. So if you can find the original leaked version of this song, you'll see what I'm talking about. But I'm having trouble placing this song at the moment. You know where I'll put it? I'll put it just after Is It Scary?
16.
Yeah. I would put it higher if it weren't for a couple of those if it weren't for like the length issue and stuff like that. So the next song is Burn This Disco Out. This is one of my favorites on the Off the Wall album, actually. I just love the beat, the way it staggers along. Boom, down, boom. Like, that's so cool to me. I don't know. Just the way that song moves, I love it. Really, like, gets you grooving. And I love the low vocals. Keep the bookie alright. It's kind of cool. It's kind of funny, but like, I really like it. I think it's a nice touch. Everybody just get on down. It's pretty neat. Like, that's so cool. I'm gonna put it above The Lady in My Life and The Girl Is Mine, right here.
17.
Next is a big one. This is History, the title track. I think this song is gorgeous. I know some people have an issue with how the verses are in such a different style, and in a way it sounds like two different tracks spliced together, but I don't know, to me it works. It's a nice contrast. The clips are good for atmospheric, thematic purposes. I guess maybe the production could be a little better, but it's pretty strong. It's a pretty strong creative track. So I put it up pretty highly, relatively highly. It is a little bit in the more middle ground, but I would say high middle. Let's put it above Gone Too Soon.
23.
Next we have Speechless. This is a beautiful ballad written, I believe, by Michael about Michael's kids. Or am I right about that? I'm not sure, but I love the a cappella intro and outro. The chord progression is very simplistic, but I think that's part of the song's charm. And the choir and the key change at the end, the impact is there. So this is a strong one for sure. It's definitely, is it stronger than History? Maybe not. It's not quite better than Gone Too Soon or Liberian Girl, or it's better than Loving You. Yeah.
26.
There you go. Next song is Slave to the Rhythm. This is an interesting one because it's like, which version are you talking about? There are so many different versions of this song. There's the original demo and the contemporized version, both of which were on the Escape album. There was also a really cool sort of dance-like version, like an electro dance type version that was leaked early. That is my favorite version, but it's kind of rare now. It's hard to find, but it is on YouTube if you want to search for it. There's also the version with Justin Bieber that I really enjoy also. Every version of this song is pretty solid. In fact, I would say the demo version is my least favorite. Even though I think that the contemporized version is a little overproduced, I think it still fits the vibe of the lyrics better. There's a little bit of darkness to it. This song is such a banger, and it deserves to be placed quite highly. Higher than Speed Demon, higher than This Time Around. So I'm gonna put it right here.
9.
It's a great song. Like, Michael's vocals on this are just insane. Very, very underrated track, in my opinion. Now we're almost getting to the end of the album tracks. Okay, yeah, so next song is Little Susie from History. What even is this song? It's such an odd inclusion on the album, but you know what? It's great. I'm really a fan of this composition. I guess it speaks to Michael's classical influences, because he was a fan of classical music, and this song it's just kind of strings and just this melancholy melody, very chilling lyrics, very chilling story about child neglect, it seems. Yeah, it's dark. It's certainly an odd inclusion on the album, but I'm a fan of this song. I would rate it reasonably highly. I think it's very well written, put together, performed. I think the choir intro is so cool, such a great idea. I'm thinking it goes right here, right after The Lady in My Life.
21.
Okay, 2000 Watts. Another weird song. For some reason, they pitched down Michael's vocals for this song. Digitally, okay? Those aren't Michael's unedited vocals. This isn't an example of him managing to magically change his voice to sound lower or anything. It's his voice pitched lower, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's an interesting creative decision that they tried this just for this one song. I think it was a pretty cool idea, and it worked out reasonably well. But the song itself, It's not great. It's okay. Reasonably high energy and maybe good for like working out, lifting weights or something like that. It has a very masculine vibe, which in some ways works against it, I think, because it is lacking like a really strong melody. However, I enjoy the production and I can sort of get behind the steady beat, but unfortunately the pitch correction was an odd choice, and I do think that actually leads to it not being a fan favorite too. It is going on the lower end. You can go here, just under Behind the Mask, 2000 watts.
53.
Next is Smile. This is a cover song, but the arrangement is beautiful. The vocal performance by Michael is very heartfelt. And the piano outro is very, very nice, very enjoyable, very lighthearted. A cool way to end the album, an emotionally demanding album. I guess just because it is a cover song, and automatically I'm inclined to rate it lower. And I know that Come Together is a cover song, and I rate it that higher. I just feel like Come Together, as an arrangement, offers something a little more than Smile. Smile, it is pretty standard orchestral, you know, a vocal slap with the orchestra. It's nice, but it's nothing like groundbreaking. So I am going to rate it a little bit lower. You know what? It's right between these two.
48.
Finally, those two get separated. It's right after Why You Wanna Trip on Me and right before She Drives Me Wild. And to close out this album track section, we are going to end with a few Invincible tracks in sequence. First being You Are My Life. Okay, this song is pretty, but that's about it. The lyrics are overly simplistic. The song goes on for too long, and the production is lacking. No one, including Michael, was trying very hard when it came to this one. I think I've heard again that this is about his kids and stuff, but the end result just doesn't cross the finish line for me personally, and I'm sure many of you feel that way too. It's just a pretty song, and that's about it. Could easily have been left off the album. It kind of drags the album's momentum down, but it is pretty. I don't hate it, but it's going to be rated quite low, and I'm going to put it just below 2000 watts.
55.
The next song is Privacy, and this one is controversial, I've noticed. Either people love this song or they hate it. I used to be a huge fan of this song because I'm a metalhead. I like guitars, I like heavy beats, but I've become less fond of it over time. However, I still like this song more than dislike it. I appreciate the intensity in Michael's vocals. It's like a total vocal transformation, almost demonic, the anger in his voice. That's something I really appreciate about the song. The chorus lets the song down a bit. The lyrics in the chorus are a bit silly, and the hook is a bit silly, but I do think that the lyrics in the verses are very impactful and sincere. Unfortunately, the guitar solo is a bit weak. You know, there's not a whole lot of shredding. It's just a sequence of notes, one after the other. There's not a whole lot of passion in the guitar playing the same way that there is in a guitar solo in a song like, for example, Beat It or DS. It's a very lame guitar solo in Privacy, and that also hurts it. I think this song is solid, and it's sort of a middling song in his discography. Stronger than a good lot of the songs on Invincible. Maybe the higher end of the low end, okay? So I'd probably rate it above She Drives Me Wild and After Smile.
49.
Because, you know, it does have a unique sound. You love it or hate it. It has a very unique sound. And another cool aspect of that song in the production is how there's the sound of the camera flashing in the middle of the beat. Very creative. I thought that was a cool touch. The next song is Don't Walk Away. This song is so boring. I actually can't even believe that it made the album, or that it's a song that Michael would even consider recording. A very strange choice to include it on the album. Again, it bloats the album. It's filler. The part at the end is pretty when the extra background vocals come in, you know. Even though I won't forget you, girl. Like, that part's kind of neat, but the rest of it is no good. And I'm really confused about that snare sound, that, you know, the pop. just this popping snare sound throughout the song is, again, very confusing choice. So I rate this song very low. It really is bottom of the barrel for me.
60.
Sorry. Next is Cry. And Cry is another weak song, unfortunately. You know, I feel like the songwriters were going for a sort of a man in the mirror moment, or almost an Earth song type moment. I think it was written by R. Kelly, actually, so, you know, forget this song. You can tell that Michael himself wasn't really feeling it. Just nothing about this song screams passion to me. It was really just cookie cutter. It was like an attempt at something Michael had already done much better previously in his career. And I can't believe it was also chosen for a single. Very confusing. There are some parts of this song that I like. I like some of the percussive elements, the, you know, like that sound and the drums is neat, but nothing else is really decent. But I would still rate it above Don't Walk Away.
60.
Next we have The Lost Children. I like this song a lot. I like the campfire vibe. Again, the folky influences is cool. I think the kids choir is very impactful at the end because it's paired with a key change. The verses have a nice flow to them. Michael's vocals are really, really pretty. I can get behind this song. I like it. Good chorus too. You know, when you have a folky campfire-like song, a chorus, a sing-along chorus is what you need, and he nailed it. So this song is going a little bit higher. And I know that like the title and the lyrics and stuff, they might seem cheesy to some people, but I don't really mind because the melody is so good. You know, the general progression of the song, the bridge is really, really well written as well. Nice tension and release. It's all solid. I put it above Dangerous.
43.
Whatever Happens is another strange collaboration, but it works. Yeah, it doesn't really sound like a Michael Jackson song, but Michael was certainly giving it his all vocally. I wonder if they pitched down his vocals a little bit in this song as well, the same way that they did in 2000 Watts, because his voice sounds sort of unnaturally deep to me. I don't know if maybe he was a little under the weather or something, but his voice sounds a little bit deeper and raspy in this song than usual, and I don't think it fits with the smooth, what would you call it, like a Spanish guitar vibe. It's cool. It's a great song. Definitely a worthwhile exploration. Good chorus. I like the lyrics. It's very strong. Definitely one of the strongest songs on Invincible. His voice just sounds a bit weird to me on this one, and I can't really pinpoint why that is without knowing more about how his vocals were processed. All that said, let's put it right here.
34.
The last song from our album track section is Threatened, which is a banger. Love the production. I love the chair dragging sound in the beat. I love his sinister delivery, his embracing of this like monster character, the smooth creepy harmonies in the chorus. His ad-libs during the finale, the climax, are just nasty. This is a great song. I really like it. Shame that it doesn't get the attention it deserves. Yeah, I'd rate it just above Liberian Girl.
27.
Okay, so now we're moving into the area of his discography that is focused on, we're talking about B-sides, unreleased material, collaborations, songs that weren't really featured on any of his albums, but maybe other artists' albums, or also including like demos, incomplete songs, miscellaneous stuff done for soundtracks, that kind of thing, which will be interesting, very interesting, because a lot of this stuff I'm going to need to re-listen to it again now and see where I think it fits. If I'm not too familiar with the song, I might not just need to give it another listen. So we're going to start with a song called One More Chance, and this was an extra little track included with the Number One's album, the Number One's Greatest Hits album. There was supposed to be a video included with it, and technically it was a single, but I am including it in the miscellaneous section just because I don't think the impact of it was that great. It's another R. Kelly penned track. I think the verses in this song are strong, but the chorus is no good. So it's sort of a weird mix, and the processing on Michael's vocals seems a little bit over the top too on this song. That does seem like an artistic decision, and I suppose it works, but an odd song overall. Pretty, but not very noteworthy. I would put it towards the bottom. Honestly, I'd probably listen to it more than You Are My Life, so.
59.
Next is a song called Sunset Driver, which I believe was a B-side left off of Off the Wall. And this song is fine. Again, like, I can see why it was left off, even though it has a pretty cool beat. It was definitely worth salvaging in terms of like bonus material, but the chorus is whatever. It's just, there's nothing that really makes it stand out apart from a reasonable beat. I can't really object to this song that much, and the production is quite good. So if it's a fave of yours, I can totally understand it. Honestly, it's probably stronger than I Can't Help It, at least. I'd put it right above I Can't Help It. Yeah, right there.
56.
Hello. My cat came to say hi. How are you doing, buddy? We're filming a video for the YouTube, aren't we? Yes. Shh, you gotta be quiet. You gotta be quiet. Okay. Don't make noise. Don't make noise. It's raining out there, bud. You don't want to go out. Alright. You know what? I'm gonna pause. I'm actually gonna go through the list and listen to all of the songs that I'm unfamiliar with in one go. And then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna bang out the ranking of them. Okay, so we are refreshed and ready to go. The next song is Ease On Down the Road from The Wiz with Diana Ross. This is obviously a very high energy, very inspirational anthem. It does have that musical quality, which is great. Great build. I like the horn parts. For some reason though, it doesn't hit me very emotionally, and I don't know why that is. There's something missing about this song. Something missing for me. Could be that it's missing like I don't know, more drama or something. It's quite upbeat, but could feel deeper musically somehow. I don't know what's missing, honestly. So I'm gonna ease it down the middle of the road. Here we go.
39.
Better than Unbreakable. The next song is Hot Street, which is a cool little bop. Hot Street, ba-da-da-da. I can see why it was left off of Thriller, but I do think this is a strong song. It's fun. You could throw it on in the car, have a great time. So where could we put that? I think we can put that right here.
55.
The next song is Streetwalker, which in my opinion is a classic. I love this song. I love all the little different details, the movements, the guitar solo, unusual vocal melodies, kind of a funny groove, lots of weird little parts. Unfortunately, it was left off of Bad, but I still think it's as strong as anything on that album. I'd rate this quite highly, actually. I'd put it right here. Spot 17. Next is She Got It, which is a demo from the Dangerous Sessions, and I quite like this demo. It's pretty good. It's groovy. Yeah, again, maybe a little bit one-dimensional, although I do like the guitar riff and the attitude and the vocals. Pretty standard stuff, but still pretty groovy. So it would be like one of the stronger demos. I would put it right here. There we go.
64.
Next is Shout, which is a B-side from the or unreleased track from the Invincible album. Honestly, I really like this song. It's very interesting. I love that Michael is rapping on it. It's also my theory that Janet joins him in the background during that harmonizing vocal part. If you listen closely, it sounds a lot like her. The chorus kind of sucks, unfortunately. and I think that the song could do with some ad-libs, especially at the end and maybe during the middle. The guitar solo is pretty good, but what I really like about this song also is the bridge. The song bridge, really good. So this song is going to be rated somewhat in the middle, I guess. Put it right here.
45.
Next is the song What More Can I Give? A beautiful song. I believe it was a tribute, a dedication to the victims of 9/11. You know, it involved a lot of other artists such as Celine Dion, Mariah Carey, Usher, Britney, maybe not Britney actually, but Beyonce, a ton of artists. Really nice song, amazing vocal performances from everyone involved. I prefer this song to We Are the World. It was kind of a We Are the World 2. Unfortunately, I don't think it ever got an official release, which is unfortunate because it's a great song. I would put it just above Much Too Soon.
33.
Next we have You Can't Win, which is another song from The Wiz, I believe. This song goes a little harder than Ease On Down the Road. I quite enjoy this one, especially the outro. You can't get out of the game. That's good stuff. So yeah, we'll put it a little higher than Ease On Down the Road. Where are you? Ease On Down the Road. Again, not a song that is very emotionally impactful, but I would still put it a little higher. I feel very similarly about these two tracks, so I feel okay with putting them side by side like this.
41.
The next song is Nightline. It's okay. It's kind of a whatever track. It definitely has some cool parts, but I feel like the parts don't really fit together in a way that flows nicely. I feel like stuff just kind of happens in this track, and obviously if it had been given more attention, things could have been smoothed out, but I think Michael was wise to just drop it early on. So this one's going to go down a little farther. It's still a bit more listenable than Don't Walk Away. Maybe better than Cry still.
72.
Next is Fly Away. The vocal melody on this one is especially nice. Yeah, it is sort of still an unfinished demo, but I think it still holds a certain beauty that I can really appreciate. It sounds fresh to this day. One of the stronger demos for sure. Nowhere near as strong as a track like Streetwalker, but it holds its ground, I think. Put it here.
62.
Next is Serious Effect. Insanely groovy track. Unfortunately, it is a sort of a unreleased demo, so it has that unfinished quality, but there's something very, very funky and groovy about this song. Really good vocalizations from Michael, and the production is very, very quirky. I really dig it. I would put this over Girlfriend right here.
53.
Next we have Seeing Voices. This is just such a lovely song. I believe the song is about sign language. It's like seeing voices, you're seeing the voices. About a deaf person or people who are deaf and how they communicate with each other. It's so nice, such a sweet song. Somehow didn't make it onto Invincible. I don't understand that. This is such a strong track with a great atmosphere and composition. We'll be putting it up there. I think it's a better song than Speechless even. Maybe better than Liberian Girl. No, not better than Liberian Girl, but definitely better than Speechless.
30.
Next, we have the infamous We Are the World. I mean, it's a good song. It's a good song, nice melody. Simple. I don't know the ins and outs of how much money this actually made for the people it was intended to. I'm pretty sure it made a shit ton of money for people in need, and that's a great thing. Unfortunately, Michael's part in it is very small. Obviously, there is a version with just his voice, but I do prefer the version with all the other singers because, well, first of all, it makes his part sound more special, and you get the variety of all the other vocalists. It's a strong song, strong ballad, a little cheesy, sure, but it has its place. So I think it's a good song, but I wouldn't rate it too highly. I would probably rate it somewhere in the middle, right after Hot Street.
62.
The next song is Heartbreak Hotel, which is an incredible song. So many different cool parts with the strings and the background vocals. the dark atmosphere. I think the song is about ghosts or something, but there's so many cool production choices, very strong vocal work. I can't say enough good things about this song. Actually, the only thing that keeps this song from being like number one or number two in my opinion is the chorus. The chorus for some reason is a little weak. Everything else about the song is perfect, but the chorus I think lets it down slightly. But it's still a really, really solid song overall, so it's going to end up in the top 10 here at this point somewhere. I think probably above Tabloid Junkie.
6.
Yeah. It's also known sometimes as This Place Hotel, but I think that's just an attempt at avoiding litigation because I think Elvis or someone has a song called Heartbreak Hotel, but whatever. The next song we're going to discuss is Someone in the Dark. And this is a really nice song. It's kind of Disney vibes, soundtrack vibes, because it was written for the E.T. soundtrack. Now, whether it actually made it onto that soundtrack or not, I don't know. But this song is a very cool, beautiful melody, sort of a sleeper track. Like it grows on you a lot over time, and definitely deserves a little bit more attention for how beautiful it is and Michael's performance on it. But I understand that the movie score / Disney vibes could turn some people off. I would put this song maybe above Keep the Faith, okay? I think Dangerous is a little better actually, so.
54.
The next song is Cheater, which is a great song, and it's such a shame that it didn't make the Bad album. Great chorus, what a hook that is. The production in general and like that piano part that comes in at the end with the key change, it's just perfection. So yeah, unfortunately it's only a demo, but I have no idea why that didn't make it onto the album. I'm gonna put it just ahead of Speechless.
32.
Next is Monkey Business. Phenomenal track, absolutely phenomenal. Totally underrated. I love the ad-libs in this track. The instrumental is cool, very groovy. I love the synth work. Michael does some interesting characterizations with his voice that we don't often hear, like especially in like the low end, and it's a great song. I really like the build up at the beginning too. The monkey voices as well is weird choice, but I'm cool with it. I just love that build up, the intro, the groove. Very, very cool. This one would be rated highly too, maybe above History for this. I'm tempted to put it quite high actually. I'm gonna put it here.
13.
Yeah, maybe it's not quite better than Speed Demon, but it's good. It's really good. Next is Why, the song that Michael did with his nephews, the band 3T. I really am into this song. It's so nice. Really nice vibes. The triangle work and stuff in it, the little, moments of magic. I know he only sings the chorus on this song, but I just thought it was noteworthy. The performances from his nephews on this song are excellent. Nice build-ups, big payoffs. So solid. Great collaboration. I put it above Lady in My Life.
23.
Next is Carousel, and I'm really not into this song. It moves along at a decent pace, and it's kind of nice enough to listen to because the production on the demo is good, but as a song it's pretty boring. It doesn't really give a whole lot. I can totally understand why it was dropped, and the lyrics are just kind of corny and don't really make much sense. So this one is going at the very bottom.
84.
The next song is Price of Fame. I like the dark vibes of this song. I think Michael has some cool vocal moments, some good grit and aggression. The synth work is cool, but it does sound unfinished, so there's nothing really there to really make it pop, but as a demo it's pretty solid. Maybe we could put it like above Best of Joy.
78.
Next is Work That Body. I think this demo is so good. Like, it's a shame that this song wasn't developed more because it really has so much potential. That chorus is so sick. That chorus is nasty, and It could have been really great built out with like even more harmonies. Just like the dissonance in it and stuff is super cool. And I like the little nod in the bridge, the little spoken word nod. I think it's a nod to it's a Jackson 5 song, ABC maybe. It's like, get up girl. That was really cool. Unfortunately, there was nothing else done with this song, but I really like it. Where would I put it? I like it more than Keep the Faith. Dangerous. I'd put it above Dangerous.
56.
It's good. So much potential in that one. Next is Fall Again, which is another demo that I'm quite fond of. This song is really pretty. Has a nice, definitely a unique emotion, sort of a bittersweet emotion coming through. It doesn't really sound like a Michael Jackson song, and I can understand why he didn't take it farther than he did. Apart from this very brief take. It sounds like he only did one take of it, but it's worth listening to, and I've definitely heard worse demos than this. It's hard to decide because even though I think the song is quite strong, like the demo is so sparse and bare bones. I'd probably put it above I Can't Make It Another Day.
81.
Next is Got the Hots, which is a demo recorded for Thriller, I believe. And honestly, I had heard of the song, but I had never listened to it until today, in preparation for this ranking. And honestly, this is really great. It's a really great track. It's so interesting because it starts off, the intro and the verses, as a lot of dissonance and clashing in the music. But then when the chorus hits, it's such a smooth, magical journey. And then the hook at the end of the chorus is so good. I really think this demo also had a lot of potential, and it's a shame that it wasn't taken further, but I would rate this demo very highly. I put it right above Why You Wanna Trip on Me.
63.
Next is Al Capone, which was recorded for the Bad album. It's kind of like a prototype of Smooth Criminal. Catchy, very Smooth Criminal-esque, but I guess because it's so like Smooth Criminal, it's hard to rate it too highly, as much as I do enjoy it. But it's stronger than a lot of these other demos. I'll put it just above Hot Street Works.
68.
Next is If You Don't Love Me. Again, another unique song because of the rock situation going on here. It's very bright and uplifting, happy vibe, even though the lyrics seem a bit bittersweet. I guess that's the appeal, the juxtaposition of it. I like the unique energy of this song. It's a good exploration for Michael's style. It's cool. It's reminiscent of something that you would hear in a 50s diner or something. In a good way. It's has that young romance to it. So this is definitely a good demo. Maybe one of the stronger demos at that. Maybe not quite as good as Work That Body, but better than Girlfriend. Not quite as good as Serious Effect.
61.
Next we have People of the World, and I'm not sure where this song was recorded or what album it was recorded for. I think probably Invincible or around that era. This song is so nice. It has such a lovely vibe, real feel-good stuff. The lyrics are what's there of the lyrics, how he kind of improvises stuff. It does seem a little bit cheesy, but I really like the vibe in the verse, and that chorus is just beautiful. I can definitely get behind the multiple key changes at the end of the song, sort of reminiscent of Heal the World, and I get it. It's totally Michael, and it's a shame that he didn't finalize his vocals more for this song, because it's really just stunning writing, really. I really like it. So I would rate it up somewhere around What More Can I Give? But it's, it's just very incomplete to rate too highly. I'm going to put it just above Dangerous.
57.
And I know some of you might be a little confused as to how I can put an unfinished demo like that seemingly so high on the list, but I really am trying to give the unfinished demos a fair shot and take into account their potential and not just the state that they're in. An unfinished demo can have even more impact than a finished song if that finished song just doesn't have that secret sauce, Next we have the song She's Trouble. I'll admit I'm not too familiar with this song. I've only heard it a handful of times, but I listened to it again just now just to remind myself, and Yeah, this is really the definition of like a really just kind of middle of the road, funky, but like this is Michael Jackson. All of his stuff is funky, you know? And relatively speaking, there's nothing that really makes this song stand out. But what I do really like about it is the bridge. The bridge is very strong. And of course, his vocals are always stunning, but not a particularly interesting song otherwise. So this is gonna go towards the bottom. It's better than Carousel, that's for sure. And definitely more interesting than these offenders right here. It's probably better than Nightline, I'll give it that. So
88.
the next song we're going to discuss is Don't Be Messing Around. This was a demo recorded for the Bad album. This song is so boring. It's mildly groovy, I guess, but there's nothing special about the vocals. It's actually quite low energy, and I really don't think this song has much, like, it doesn't really have many redeeming qualities at all, so I'm gonna have to put this at the very, very bottom.
93.
The next song is an interesting one. It's called We've Had Enough. This was released on the Ultimate Collection, and this song is extremely strong. Very powerful lyrics, very powerful vocals. I love the guitar work. I love the build-up. It's a really, really strong song overall. The only thing that I really wish they had worked on a little bit is not making it so much of an Earth Song clone, because the chords they use, the chord progression is identical to Earth Song. So that's a bit of a bummer. It makes it transparent that they were trying to recreate the energy of Earth Song a little bit, which they succeeded in somewhat, and that's kind of what makes the song powerful, but that's my only criticism. But it is a mild enough criticism, because even though the chord progression is pretty much identical, I think they varied the vocal melodies quite a bit to make it stand on its own. I'll put this song right above Gone Too Soon.
30.
It's a similar song in a way to History, I guess, but I do think History has the edge. The next song is Who Do You Know, a demo recorded for Thriller. I had not heard this song until today, and I'm quite impressed. I think that the general sentimental flow of it is very, very nice. You know, Michael did have sentimental songs, but I like how this one seems to have its own vibe going for it. And even though the chorus is not exactly an earworm, it is nice to hear those extended notes and the harmonies that he incorporates to create the sort of magical sound that only he can create. Definitely a strong song, stronger than I expected. I'll put it right above You Are My Life here.
83.
I probably would put it higher if it were a little more complete. Yeah, the impact isn't quite there yet. The next song is I'm So Blue. I really enjoy this demo. The songwriting in this one is really heartfelt. Even though the lyrics are not complete, Michael does some really beautiful vocalizations at the end. Really just kind of melts your heart when you hear those vocals. And I love his falsetto in this song too. That falsetto part is really pretty. Again, it does sit in that generic ballad territory a little bit, but I can definitely appreciate it. Definitely more than a song like Don't Be Messing Around. I think we can safely put it above Behind the Mask. Nah, I wouldn't go that far. Above One More Chance? Sure.
81.
The next song is Mind Is the Magic. I have no idea what this song was recorded for. It seems to be Siegfried and Roy, they were like a magic act or something. But this song slaps. I just love how creative it is, how wacky it is. It's really over the top, really just quirky, idiosyncratic production. I love the harmonies, the mood of the song. It's magical. It's really cool. Really into it. And I love the breakdown at the end, and just the noisy breakdown. It's just so sick. Just I love that. Just repeated, just slamming on whatever it is, like a tin can or something. Just why not, you know? Experimental. Very cool, very, very cool. I feel like I want to put it, this is getting harder and harder to do, by the way. Looking at all these great songs and being like, where do I interrupt this? I'm going to put it just after Come Together.
47.
The next song is What a Lovely Way to Go, and again, another song that I only heard for the first time today. Not much good to say about this, only because it seems like It was sort of a Beatles-esque idea that Michael wanted to explore, but it sounds like it was recorded in 1 or 2 takes. It's quite sloppy. Even the piano chords don't quite go with his vocals. It really does seem like a really rough idea that he wanted to play around with, and clearly he decided it wasn't working, it wasn't worth pursuing, and that's fine, you know. Interesting attempt at experimenting, but probably not noteworthy at all, so this is going to go at the very bottom.
98.
The next track is Free. I like this one. It's a breezy, relaxed track, nothing to think too seriously about. His vocals are great. I like how he's really not taking too seriously. He kind of goes off a little bit on the ad-libs, a little over the top at the end. He's kind of having fun, and then his keyboardist just kind of fucks around, just starts playing wrong notes and stuff, and Michael cracks up, and it's a nice moment between friends, so that steps this recording up a little bit, even though it isn't part of the song exactly. I compare it to I'm So Blue because I think they're like listed one after the other. I do prefer I'm So Blue, but this one can go... I'll put it after She's Got It, yeah.
85.
Next is On the Line. I'm a big fan of this song. A beautifully melodic, heartfelt, smooth, ballad-esque type song. I love Michael's vocals on this track. Those bells that come in at the end, pretty cool. I think there's a key change in it too. Yeah, it's a strong ballad. I guess there's nothing really that makes it stand out too much, but I would say it's definitely a gem, like a hidden gem in his discography. And it's hella hidden. Like, you gotta really look if you're gonna discover this track, but it's certainly worth discovering. I'll put it above People of the World, which is
59.
Similar vibe that those two tracks are going for, I guess. The next one is Song Groove, parentheses, Abortion Papers. Well, first of all, let's not get into it, but I feel like whichever way you stand about the subject matter of this song, I just don't think this song is that strong at all. The beat is okay, but I mean, how are you going to dance to something like this or feel anything? It's just not good. Not a moment. You know, it makes total sense that this was really never supposed to see the light of day. Compositionally, yeah, it's just average. I'll put it above Don't Be Mess Around only because it gives a little bit of energy or something.
99.
But that's about it. This next song is a fun one. It's Elizabeth, I Love You. Which is a very nice song that he wrote for Elizabeth Taylor on her birthday and performed for her live at her birthday celebration. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a high quality studio recording that you can find of it, but what a great song. I guess it's a little hard to get into if you don't really care for Elizabeth Taylor or whatever, but obviously it's just a personal song from him to her about their friendship. It's sincere, it's beautifully written and performed. I'm a fan of this track, and I love the climax of the song as well. I guess I'd put it above On the Line.
59.
I just love the sentiment of it. It's so innocent and meaningful, just between friends. I just like that, and I like the song, so deal with it. Next song is a weird one. It's What's Up With You, or What's Up With You, or What's Up With You. It's actually Eddie Murphy's song, but Michael appeared on it. Yeah, honestly, I don't know how to feel about this one. It's sort of a funny, upbeat song. I think there's some sort of heal the world message in there somewhere, but not a fan of Eddie Murphy's vocals. The vibe of the song is just kind of strange. Even though it is kind of upbeat, I'm not sure how to dance to it. It's a very strange vibe. Obviously, Michael sprinkles some cool ad-libs and stuff here and there, but I don't know. The chorus is also kind of annoying. I'd put it down low, but it's not horrible. You know, it's not awful. At least it's got something a little more unique going for it than Cry, so I'll just put it above Cry.
97.
The next track we're going to talk about is Someone Put Your Hand Out. This song doesn't really get any rise out of me or any emotion or anything like that. It's kind of boring. There is kind of a cool sax solo or something in the middle and a nice bridge for sure, but the verse and the chorus is basically the same melody repeated over and over again, Michael is just kind of phoning it in vocally, not really feeling it himself, it seems to me. So I'll be rating this one low-ish. It's a little bit more complete than She's Trouble, so I'll put it here.
95.
Now, I was kind of debating whether to even include this song, which is Happy Birthday, Lisa. Lisa, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Lisa. I guess technically it's a Michael Jackson song, so why not? I mean, I don't really need to explain why I'm not going to rate this song highly. It's so simple. It's really only created for a Simpsons episode, a funny moment. But that said, it does serve its purpose better than some of these ones. I'll put it here.
102.
Next song is For All Time. A gorgeous little ballad. A little bit incomplete production-wise and vocally, but the melody and overall feeling that I get from this song is very good. I like it quite a bit. Where would I put it? Right here, after If You Don't Love Me.
67.
The next song is Get It, which is a Stevie Wonder song featuring Michael, and this is a great track. I like the groove of it. I like the attitude of it. I think it might be a similar sentiment as Just Good Friends, where it's like they're competing for a lady's attention. Michael's verse is next level in this. Amazing range he displays and beautiful ad-libs. Definitely one of the better collaborations that he did. I guess it's not a super special kind of song though, so I am tempted to put it more towards the bottom. I'll put it just above I Can't Help It.
82.
Next is We Are Here to Change the World, which was written and performed for the Captain EO soundtrack, which I believe was a 3D ride in a what do you call it, theme park or something. I'm not crazy about this song. I'm sure it was fun on the ride or something, but I guess without the context of the story or whatever, it doesn't really hit that hard. I guess I'd put it above Happy Birthday.
104.
The next song is I Am a Loser. This is a really rough, bare bones demo that he created, I guess, just to suss out this type of vibe, but it's just so squeaky clean, inoffensive, mild, like vanilla. There's nothing really going for this song, even though like obviously his voice is nice and the harmonies are nice, but it's just such a lack of emotion in it that it really doesn't appeal to me. So we're gonna put that right here.
106.
You know, the I guess the soundscape is okay, but that's about it. I'm actually gonna put it lower. It's still better than, well, actually it's probably the worst song so far, to be honest.
109.
Yeah. The next track is You Were There, which he, I guess, wrote and performed live for Sammy Davis for his 60th anniversary celebration, and this is a nice song. The sentiment is there. The performance is nice. I just don't think it's as strong a song as Elizabeth, I Love You. I'm only comparing the two because they were performed in a similar context. It's a nice enough song. It serves its purpose. The message gets across. The lyrics obviously make sense. It's cool. I have to say, it cracks me up a little bit after he delivers the final line and then he breaks into the crotch grab pose. It seems a little not quite appropriate for the moment, but you know, I like his style. I like that he just kind of went for it. It's what he was feeling in the moment. Cool performance. Song-wise, not the strongest, you know, compositionally, so I'm not going to rate it too highly. Since it's a little more sincere, I will put it above Someone Put Your Hand Out.
97.
Sorry, You Were There. Go. The next track is Say, 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 which is a duet with Paul McCartney. While I've never been crazy about this song personally, I do recognize that it's pretty catchy. It's a pretty well-written track. The songwriting is strong. I don't know who wrote it, whether it was Paul or Michael or a mix of them both, but both their vocals on it are pretty strong, and it's definitely a solid cut. So I'm going to be fair, even though for some reason it doesn't speak to me that much. I'm going to be fair and I'm going to put it up there because, you know, it's iconic. That melody is iconic, and I think it was sampled for like a dance remix later on that was also a hit. But I have to stay true to my heart and not rate it too highly. just because I feel under pressure. We're gonna put it above Loving You.
37.
Next is State of Shock with Mick Jagger. Good song. I much prefer this song to Say. Love the guitar riff, love the energy. It's just like this constant barrage of funkiness that you can't get away from. It's quite infectious. So I think they did a really great job with this one. So if Say is here, I would put State of Shock right above it.
37.
Sorry for lacking imagination, but that's honestly where I see it. The next song is There Must Be More to Life Than This, which was a collaboration with Freddie Mercury. Never really got properly released, but I think you can find a version with just Michael out there and a version with both their vocals. And really it's kind of magic that they created, and it's such a shame that the recordings are such low quality. I like this song quite a bit, even though I don't listen to it too often. It's strong. It belongs somewhere in this area here. I'll put it just below For All Time. I think that works.
70.
Next is Scared of the Moon. A weird one. It sounds a little bit like a lullaby, like a children's story. I appreciate the experimentation with a different atmosphere, the theatrical thing, but it just doesn't really speak to me. It's a little bit too cutesy. There's nothing to really grab my attention. It has points for being a little bit different and experimental, but other than that, not really that good, to be honest. Yeah.
85.
Just after Sunset Driver, that's fine. Then we have the song This Is It. And I don't know when this song was recorded, but it really became known around the time the movie came out, soon after his death. So there's a lot of emotion attached to that song, and I totally understand it. I quite enjoy the verses, but it's not his best song. It's not super strong, but I do appreciate how they built out the chorus a little bit and made it into something a little more final, but it would be one of his weaker ballads. Still stronger than a lot of these, to be fair. I think it goes right here.
93.
This next song is The Man, another duet between Paul and Michael, and I only just heard this song for the first time today, and I have to say, what a song. This is really good. I'm so surprised I haven't heard this before, because this could potentially end up being my favorite out of the 3 songs they did together. I'm into this one. Great energy, great bouncing back and forth between the 2 vocalists. I really enjoyed the guitar solo as well. Good stuff. So let's see where I could potentially put this. It's hard because I haven't developed an emotional attachment to the song yet, but I acknowledge that it's quite good. It's good material, you know? I'll put it above Serious Effect.
67.
Yeah. The next song is All in Your Name, which was a song that Michael did with, I guess, Barry Gibb. This is a pretty smooth ballad, but really nothing special. There's some cool moments, small moments, where Michael's voice shines, but it's really kind of, I don't have any strong feelings about this song, so I'm going to put it somewhere towards the end, right here.
112.
I do apologize for how ugly this list is looking. I don't know why it's creating these weird spaces. Yeah, I can't really help it, sorry. This next track is To Satisfy You, and again, I wasn't even sure whether to include this or not, but figured I might as well anyway. But it's by Brian Lauren, and Michael basically does the chorus. It's actually quite catchy, and I'm into it. So I'm gonna put it right here, above All Is Your Name.
112.
The next song is Days in Gloucestershire. Interesting track. I'm quite into this one for some reason. The vibe it gives off is unique. It's very sweet, and it does have that saccharine vibe a little bit, but it's a beautiful melody, beautiful hook, and I'm into it. And I kind of wish it had been made a final song. Unfortunately not. But it is one of the stronger demos, like low quality demos out there. Maybe we will get something a little bit more high quality eventually. You know what? I'm so into this song that I probably put it like above Nightline. Yeah.
106.
I kind of tempted to put it higher, but I'm trying to not be ridiculous. Next is Beautiful Girl, a sweet, catchy song with a somewhat experimental production that I appreciate. Michael's vocals on this one are a little strange. He sounds a little bit like tired, like he's not really feeling it all that much. Obviously, it's a really rough demo and he's obviously just trying to throw down an idea. But I kind of appreciate this song and I understand why it was included on the Ultimate Collection. You know, it's one of his more memorable unfinished demos. I put it above This Is It, right here. Actually, I'd put it higher. I'd put it above Scared of the Moon. Yeah.
86.
Next song is In the Back, which is probably my favorite demo he's ever done. This song is so sick. The groove of it is just next level. Really awesome stuff. You can tell he was really inspired preparing this one. It's baffling how this never made it into a final recording because the atmosphere, the dark atmosphere, the moody strings, the emotion in it, just that insane groove is just, I don't know. It's beyond me how this was left on the cutting room floor or whatever the phrase is, but let's put this one reasonably high as I can go for a unfinished demo. It's definitely better than some of these songs. Yeah, I hesitate to put it above The Lost Children, but you know what? I'm gonna put it above The Lost Children. I'm gonna put it above, it's going above Get on the Floor.
55.
Yeah, that's about right. Now we've almost reached the end of this section, and this one is called We Be Ballin', I think, which eventually turned into We Be Clubbin'. It's an Ice Cube song, but We Be Ballin', I guess, was a demo where Michael recorded the hook for the chorus, and it's actually pretty catchy. It kind of slaps, but I can see that maybe the energy he was putting into it wasn't enough for like a final release, and I don't know, maybe the contract expired or he backed out of it or whatever, but We Be Ballin', I'm into it. It's kind of cool to listen to. It's an interesting vibe and I can definitely dig it. I guess it's so whatever on the other hand that I wouldn't rate it too highly. Like, I put it above What's Up With You, would I? Or Don't Walk Away? I'd put it above We Are Here to Change the World, yeah.
114.
Next song is Somebody's Watching Me by Rockwell featuring Michael on the chorus. Great chorus. Yeah, you know, the song is kind of a banger. It was a big hit. I should put it high up enough, even though I never listened to it. It should go up higher, just above Privacy.
78.
By the way, thank you guys for sticking with me this long. As you can see, I've been at this for a while. It is now dark out, but I'm having so much fun. Honestly, I've been taking long breaks in between because this is quite intense, but super fun. So we've 2 songs left in the unreleased, in the unreleased slash, oh my goodness, the unreleased slash miscellaneous section, and those songs are, well, I won't spoil it for you. I'll just tell you the next song. The next song is Faces. This is a very recently leaked song. I didn't realize. It was only leaked like last year or something, or even early this year. Apparently it's like an unreleased track from the History Sessions, and it's mostly a spoken word speech from Michael, sort of similar themes to They Don't Care About Us, sort of anti-racism, anti-bigotry, that kind of stuff. There's a nice sort of string, synth string pad arrangement as he's speaking. Quite emotional, like it's very cool, definitely fits with the general vibe of the History album. And then it breaks into more like a groovy beat, kind of to inspire like action. At least that's what I took from it. I thought this track was really cool, really unusual for him. Very experimental, although I was looking at the comments and someone brought up a good point where this might have been just a scratch track for someone else to do vocals, or that eventually he intended to put vocals over the beat, because the beat does go on for a while. But I thought this was quite interesting. I'm gonna rate it kind of high, for a demo anyway. High for a demo. I'm not gonna lie, that string arrangement really got me. I really like it. I think around here works. Just above I Can't Make It Another Day.
104.
Yeah. And the very last song for this section is Ghost of Another Lover. This demo is so rough, so unfinished, so low quality that it's really hard to tell if it's even him. But having listened to it closely, I do believe it is him. It's just him really just kind of messing around with a very skeletal beat and chords, maybe playing around with this and that, but there's really no melody there that he's even figured out yet. It's just noises, really vague vocalizations, and just like a bland atmosphere. So it's rough, very, very rough. I'm not going to say bad because there isn't even a song there, you know what I mean? So I'm going to put it at the very bottom.
125.
And this is probably the definitive quote unquote worst song. Sorry, there it is. I don't see this position changing at all. Yeah, so there you go. There you have that, at least. Something that I don't think too many people are going to be upset about. Now, that leads us into the final section, which is the most exciting part, of course, which is his singles, his hits. The man had quite a few hits, and I'm excited to get into those. It's time. We are starting off, we're going way back to Ben. Ben. What an amazing song. I think the beauty of this song, how touching it is, goes without saying. It's just a moment of innocence, just pure talent from such a young soul. It's quite incredible. So this song is going to go up very high. This song is probably going to be above Slave to the Rhythm and after Beneath Butterflies.
10.
There you go, number 10. Ben 10, how about that? Next we have Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. A huge smash hit. Such a unique and creative way of songwriting that he was just starting to develop. His genius was just starting to evolve when he created this song. Maybe a hot take, unpopular opinion. I've never really cared for this song that much, but I'm fully aware of what the general opinion is on it, and that is something that I simply can't ignore. And the reason why I don't care for it that much is because while I do enjoy his falsetto, I prefer it used a bit more sparingly than this. I'm really more of a fan of his full-on chest voice, like that passion, you know. But this song, it's iconic. The intro, the woo, I mean, come on, you can't beat that. Where would we put it? It's definitely in the top 10 of this list anyway. I'd probably put it just below Working Day and Night.
4.
Because I will die on this hill that Working Day and Night is a better song. That is my firm belief. Next is Wanna Be Starting Something. Another crazy good song, so recognizable, so iconic. The chanting at the end is like a whole cultural reset. The whole outro of this song is just so crazy, creative, and good. And just the general energy of the song. It's a fantastic intro track to Thriller. I'd probably put it, this is tough. I'm gonna put it above Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, but after Working Day and Night.
4.
I just think Working Day and Night is so good. It's hard to beat. So far it's only been beaten by a couple. Now this next song, Bad is a banger. It is iconic. It's catchy. It's so badass. It's so badass. It's a punch in the face. There's nothing like it. And it's number 1.
1.
The new number 1, Morphine, has been dethroned. Pretty straightforward stuff. The next song is Jam. This is definitely an interesting one because I love this song. But in my heart of hearts, I know that it might not make the top 10. But I think I know where I'm going to put this. I think I'll put it just above Tabloid Junkie.
10.
Okay, so it did make the top 10, as is. Yeah, that song is great. Obviously, it inspired a lot of people. Bruno Mars, Uptown Funk, really borrows that horn inspiration. I love just the that orchestra hit that's repeated throughout the track. It's kind of obnoxious, but I love that. It's just like, again, a punch in the face. I like that energy just hitting you right there. I really appreciate and enjoy that. So I'm going to get rid of those rulers. Yeah, that's better. Just a classic, underrated for sure. Love it. Okay, the next song, we're in a dangerous place here because this song, it is a favorite of mine. Scream featuring Janet. Yeah, this one is hella good. I want to put it in first place, but I gotta be objective about this. The song is not really melodic. Well, it is. It has a lot of good melodies, it has good harmonies. Even the chorus, as monotone as it is harmonized. But it's those small, subtle touches that make it great, you know? I love how the composition is so cold and metallic and aggressive. I love the rock influences. You got that amazing guitar solo, the interlude with Janet's spoken word section. There's just so many cool moments in this song that I can't cover it all possibly. Like that distorted electronic synth to open and close the song. I mean, they were on something when they made this song. They really were. I have to put this song at number... This is really hard. I'll put it after Baby Be Mine. I really want to put it higher than that, but the songs above it are really like, you're kind of messing with gold if I'm gonna move those around too much. So Scream goes into eighth place.
8.
The next track we're going to discuss is Blood on the Dance Floor, another favorite of mine. The energy is just unparalleled in this song. The explosion of the chorus after like the subtle, dark grooviness of the verses, the sort of dimension that this song brings you to is so cool, and it's like theatrical and demented. I don't even get it, but I love it. I don't know how you come up with something like that. So I guess I just appreciate that sort of imagination more than a song that is more typically enjoyable or can be played in a club or whatever. So that's why I would rate a song like Blood on the Dance Floor very highly. I wouldn't rate it as highly as Scream, but I would definitely rate it above Jam. I'm going to rate it above Heartbreak Hotel.
10.
The next song is You Rock My World, a classic, of course, but it is not like the same status as what we're seeing at the top here at all. Unfortunately, I think the chorus of this song lets it down. It's a little bit bland, doesn't really hit as hard as some other stuff, even on the Invincible album, but the production and the smoothness of the verses, Michael's voice is sublime. A lot of cool stuff going on instrumentally, especially with like the piano and the strings, and it's a beautiful production, this song. They really killed it. Shame about the chorus. Obviously the chorus grows on you over time, but it doesn't surprise me that this wasn't more of a hit. I know Invincible wasn't promoted as much as it should have been, but I would be lying if I could honestly put that all down to promotion. Does the song have a killer hook? In this case, unfortunately not, even though the song as a whole is quite a pleasant experience. So we're going to go down quite a bit, I'm not going to lie. I could probably put it above The Lady in My Life.
31.
I know that's going down quite far for one of his biggest singles, but that's how I genuinely see it. Next is Hold My Hand, featuring Akon. This song is fine for what it is, which is a very, like, of its time, cookie cutter, emotional pop R&B track. Michael's vocals sound beautiful on this song, but the song itself, it kind of sucks. We're going to be going down quite a bit here. Again, I do like Michael's voice in the song and the ad-libs in it. You know, if you like the song, good for you. Just, to me, it doesn't deserve a higher spot because it's so commercial. It's probably the most commercial sounding song I've ever heard him put out. And I guess it worked out in a way. Well, he didn't really intend to release this song, as far as I know. Okay, I'll put it above You Are My Life.
108.
Because I would sooner listen to that than You Are My Life. The next song is Love Never Felt So Good, the big hit from the posthumous album Escape. I was actually surprised at how popular the song got. Pleasantly surprised, that is. To me, it's quite average sounding, even though, and maybe this is because I literally heard it in too many advertisements or whatever, but it really does sound like a canned advertisement. Anyway, just a pretty, again, like, you know, unobjectionable, inoffensive, mild track that is kind of neither here nor there for me. Although I guess they did well with amping up the production posthumously for this. I'd rate this song lowly enough because it's just kind of boring. Put it above I Can't Make It Another Day
114.
and After Faces. This next song is a great one. It's I Wanna Be Where You Are. It's a bop. It's a cute bop with a beautiful arrangement. You know, they really knew how to arrange music back then and make everything pop with the strings and stuff and the rhythms, the mixing. So that's really what elevates the song, as well as Michael's performance, of course. It's a great song. It really should be put up there reasonably high. I'll put it above Little Susie.
33.
Okay, Rock With You is the next song. That is pretty much the song from Off the Wall. Of course, yeah, I can't argue with how good this song is. I want to argue because Off the Wall is not the album that is closest to my heart, but of course I love Rock With You. Rock With You is a great song, especially when you're out dancing in a club. It's so feel good. It just has that power to take you away and just feel some joy and happiness. I wouldn't rate it as high as bad. Maybe I should. It's a great song. I'm so indecisive about this. Okay. I'll do it. I'll put it first. Okay.
1.
I have to be objective. It deserves it. It deserves that spot. It's a great song. Everyone knows it. It's like so beautifully written, and what else can you say? It's a classic. It's the classic. Okay, Thriller. Thriller. It's gotta go in first place. I mean, it's gotta go in first place. Now, if I'm correct, I think Rod Temperton wrote both Rock With You and Thriller. You know, obviously he's an amazingly talented songwriter, and him and Michael were an incredible pairing. Thriller is better than Rock With You only because it has that little bit of an edge in that it's taking a risk doing the whole like horror vibes, and that outro with Vincent Price, I think is his name, that is some creepy shit. That is some amazing art, an amazing performance all around. The song itself is groovy as hell. The chorus is an explosion. Again, a cultural reset. It basically defined pop music. So let's not kid ourselves.
1.
The next song is The Way You Make Me Feel, which is just an outstanding smash hit, firing on all cylinders. An amazing release, an amazing song. His vocals, they soar. The production is interesting on the drums because they're so harsh sounding, but it really makes the song sound huge and like a larger than life production. It's really outstanding. I think I can safely put it in third place. I think that's where it belongs at this moment.
3.
And I know some of you might still be wondering, what the fuck is Morphine doing there? In fifth place. But what makes Morphine powerful is really the meaning behind the song, how personal it is, how experimental it is. There's really nothing like out there like that song. And the performance he gives on that song, the absolute soul he puts into the vocals, the beauty of the middle section. So I just kind of want to reiterate that because I'm just aware that this list is looking a little strange with that song kind of pasted in the middle there, seemingly, but this is just kind of what my heart is telling me that it does deserve its current spot. Next we have In the Closet. Very weird. This song is particularly weird and experimental, going for something very, very different. Obviously, it's kind of sexually charged. I like how there is some dissonance in the verses. It's not very like musical per se, but it kind of evokes that kind of dirty feeling in the verses. And I like how that is contrasted with the funky vocals in the bridge and the very melodic chorus. Where the drum beat switches up. A very, very cool moment on Dangerous Definitely one of my favorite songs on this album. The spoken word sections, they fit really well. I'm not sure about the whole orgasm part in the middle, but you know what? He went for it, and you gotta give him credit for that. I like the outro, you know, where they're playing around with the production and stuff. Overall, very, very strong song, very strong single, very unique. Very hard to place, this song. It's kind of like a dark horse, a wild card. But I'm not seeing any song yet that I would put below it. Maybe Why.
33.
Why might be rated a little too highly, actually. We're gonna do a little bit of rearranging here and there at the very end. This next song is another killer. It is They Don't Care About Us. Words can't describe how good this song is, how powerful it is, how relevant it is, how emotional the performance is, the lyrics, the viciousness of the instrumental, the passion in it. It's just perfection. Literally perfection. You can tell the blood, sweat, and tears that went into making the song what it is. That makes me want to put it above Thriller. Number one. Again, we have to be objective. I don't know, this song, it just really blows me away. I could be biased because I tend to be biased against songs that are overplayed, like Thriller and Rock With You, and I've reluctantly put them where they are, as much as I do believe that they deserve those spots. I have to put it first. It's just so immaculately composed.
1.
Written, performed, executed. It's such a burst of emotion. The strings, the vocal harmonies as well, the little sound effects, the electronic parts. It's a whole other level of art, like artistic achievement, than songs like Thriller and Rock With You. That's my personal opinion. That's genuinely how I feel. The next track is Got to Be There. Got to be there. What a lovely, lovely little tune. Got to be there in the morning. Yeah, that's good. That's really, really nice. It's just funny, like the tone that we've changed the tone of the conversation so quickly just with this one little happy song. I wouldn't say it's quite as iconic as a song like Ben. Obviously, I'm comparing it to the other songs he made when he was a kid, but I probably would put it at least above This Time Around. I wouldn't put it above Slave to the Rhythm though. So it can go right here. Got to be there. There you go.
22.
Discussing the singles is definitely the most fun part of this exercise, because the next song is She's Out of My Life. More beautiful stuff incoming. What a stunning ballad. Really underrated, I think. A really underrated song in his discography. That vocal performance is just... oh my goodness. It really highlights the shape that his voice was in at that age. It's a really beautiful ballad. I like that it's just kind of subdued with just some like a electronic piano to accompany him. It also contains a beautiful bridge and a heart-wrenching finale. So there's still a lot of strong songs here. Speed Demon, it's definitely stronger than that. I'm still getting behind This Time Around as a strong song. Sometimes ballads, I think they do get away with preference just because they're overly melodic, so then you're like, oh, automatically that must be better, right? Not quite. As amazing as I think She's Out of My Life is, I'm not super inclined to place it that high. I know I just said the song is underrated. Well, it's better than The Girl Is Mine, that's for sure. So here we go.
34.
The next one is another monster. It's Beat It. Mega smash hit again, changing the cultural landscape. I think this was the first song by an artist of color on MTV. The first music video by an artist of color on MTV. I could have that wrong, but if it wasn't the first, it was either Thriller or Beat It was the first. And the song itself is a belter. Great chorus, what an opening riff, guitar riff. The guitar solo by Eddie Van Halen, it just shreds, doesn't hold back at all. I heard he did that in one take. I don't know how true that is, but I would believe it because There's elements of improvisation in it, but it's still quite melodically sound and contributes to the song's overall momentum pretty damn well. That little breakdown, bum 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 bum, is like, oh, it's so good. I would definitely put it very high. I think it's a better song than Thriller, actually. So I would put Beat It here, number 2.
2.
And I think most people would agree that they prefer this song than Thriller. But of course I'm just speaking for myself, so I don't really know that. But I think the list as it is looking pretty solid. Okay, the next song is Man in the Mirror, and I know I'm saying this about a lot of songs at this point, of course, because we're getting to the real good stuff, but this song is just phenomenal. It's so good. It is stunning, amazing. It hurts how good this song is. His vocals on this, out of this world. Can never be duplicated, replicated. That's why he is the king of pop, you know what I mean? This is an example of his just raw talent, but I also have to hand it to the songwriters on this song, because it was Theata Garrett and someone else who wrote this song, and cheers to them, because it would seem that they wrote it with him in mind, because the vocal lines, they really seem to be like, even the chorus, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. It's a very, like, there was a lot of staccato stuff in that he was very good at, and it just seems like the perfect, powerful anthem of self-change that only he could sing in that way. And of course, the harmonies and in the chorus, and then the gospel choir, it's just so beautiful. It's heavenly. Heavenly. Again, this is very hard to place. I would put this song above Thriller, but below Beat It.
3.
Yeah, that seems about right. This next song is Remember the Time. Definitely a bop, definitely a funky R&B jam, very smooth. It was one of the defining songs of the Dangerous era. A very, very enjoyable track. And the outro where he goes off on the ad-libs is, of course, unforgettable. Ooh, it's gonna be pretty high up there. It's probably gonna be ahead of Bad, so I would put it right here.
7.
Like, it's such a great chorus. The way the song moves is just sublime, and it's just another one of those perfect songs that he released. Timeless, truly. Okay, this next song is Stranger in Moscow, another artistic achievement in my opinion. There was nothing quite like that sound in pop music at the time. You can tell he really wrote it for himself. You can tell in the lyrics that was just his dark, silent moment to himself. He was a little down on himself, feeling like just a stranger. You can hear it in the production, the melodies, the chord progression. A very spiritual song, very unlike anything else in his discography, which makes it very hard to place, because it really depends on what you're looking for, like what you value in the music. If you're looking for something to groove along to and dance to on the dance floor, like obviously this is not the song for you, but if you're looking for a little bit of truth, something personal, something introspective, something that is profound to listen to in a walk home in the rain or something, then this song is top tier. I do feel like it deserves to be in the top 10 somewhere as the list currently stands. Is it a better song than Bad? They're so different. It's so hard to compare them. I'm gonna put it ahead of Morphine and after Bad.
9.
I feel like Stranger in Moscow and Morphine have a lot in common because they are both so personal, but I think Stranger in Moscow just comes out on top that little bit because there's an element of hope in the lyrics, which I think is worth pointing out. And I say it has an element of hope. I can't even remember really if there is a hopeful lyric in there, but the atmosphere, especially towards the end of the song, certainly has an uplifting, hopeful feeling that there is a way out of this hole. Whereas Morphine, it's just like, we're in the hole and I don't see a way out. Which is also artistically valid because that is a genuine emotion that people do feel. So this next song is Dirty Diana. This is another rock monster. So groovy and powerful. Great story in the lyrics, great vocal performance. I absolutely love the guitar parts. The string parts, the synth string parts in this song are really gorgeous too. And overall, this composition is just very, very strong and recognizable. Great chorus, absolutely great chorus. Now, I don't know if it's top 10. I think we're looking more like in the teens somewhere. I mean, I think this is a better song than Wanna Be Starting Something.
13.
It's great, just really good stuff. It's a banger. It cannot be denied. And apparently, if we're to believe Michael, this was Princess Diana's favorite song. So that goes towards something, I'm sure. Next we have Heal the World. Heal the World is interesting. It is the quintessential Heal the World song. I guess he was continuing the theme from Man in the Mirror of making that change. And I guess from the Bad album on, he always had a song like this on his albums, which is understandable. He really cared a lot about the earth and humanity and that kind of stuff. He was a humanitarian, you know. These things are very close to his heart. I think that this song puts a lot of people off because it is very sentimental, very sweet, a little bit corny, a little bit cheesy, a little bit over the top, but musically it's quite beautiful. It's quite beautifully written. The melodies are gorgeous. I love the key changes at the end. I think the spoken word part from that little kid at the beginning is very touching. I actually think it's quite a tasteful song overall, even though a lot of people might disagree. Now, I wouldn't rate it high exactly, but I would rate it at least in the top half of this entire list. Just above In the Closet, yeah.
41.
And the next song is a similar track. It is Childhood. I say similar, sonically they are quite similar. But thematically, Childhood is way more personal. Michael said that it's the most personal song he's ever written, and you can really tell that in the lyrics. The overall style of it, you know, it's very Neverland, very Peter Pan-like. Just a gorgeous ballad in a similar vein to Smile, but obviously an original song, and a better song at that. Well, okay, I don't know if it's a better song, but if you're looking for a Michael Jackson moment, this is the song to listen to rather than Smile. It's really a beautiful composition, definitely underrated. Again, it might be a little bit too sentimental for some people, which is why it's not probably that popular, but if you just pay attention to the strings and just get lost in his voice, it's good. It's very good. Very unusual melody, and catchy even. I do feel like it's my duty to find an honest place for this song in the list. I mean, it has such integrity as a song. It's really like his heart, so I'm gonna go here. Right after Got to Be There, and right before This Time Around.
28.
This next track is Given to Me. Given to Me is a rock classic. I guess it is the third in the rock trilogy of Michael Jackson. You know, we had Beat It, then Dirty Diana. It's pretty cool. I think it's probably the least heavy out of those three songs. But what I really like about this song is the extended outro. I really love how there really is a focus on the guitars in this song. There's like the guitar solo as part of the bridge, and then there's also the guitar solo during the outro where MJ is ad-libbing over it and stuff. Sorry, my cat's chasing some stuff over there. That's a little bit of noise. I like the main riff of the song, the softer riff. It's just kind of a generally quite a passionate, moody song. I guess it makes sense considering the lyrics. Yeah, it strikes me as a little bit more experimental than his usual rock style. Pretty cool. I like the use of strings too. It's very well done. I don't know if it's better than Beat It and Dirty Diana. Probably not. Even though it is like more experimental and stuff, it's something that I really appreciate. It maybe doesn't reach the heights that those songs reach. So, and that's definitely not a slight against the song, because we're talking about, you know, stone cold classics here. So does it beat Butterflies? I think so. Above Butterflies and after Human Nature.
24.
The next song is You Are Not Alone. I have a lot of fond memories of this song. It is quite a beautiful melody. Unfortunately, Michael was sued for this song because the melody was unfortunately stolen by R. Kelly. I believe it was a French or Belgian composer from their song, and if you listen to the original song, it's quite clear that the melody was stolen. Whether Michael was aware of this or not, I have no idea. I like to think not, since R. Kelly was the songwriter and probably was the one who presented the song to Michael. The original composer was awarded, basically won the case, because it was pretty clear cut, and you can look at the original song for yourself. I'm sure you can find it somewhere. Unfortunately, this song has dipped in favor for me, but all that aside, Michael's performance on it is absolutely beautiful, and the original song that I was inspired by was only an instrumental, so all of the lyrics are original, and the pairing of the lyrics with the melody, of course, is quite well done, and the sentiment of the song is great. It was the first song, correct me if I'm wrong, could be the first song that ever debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 100, which is very impressive. I don't want to knock anyone who values this song emotionally or anything. Perfectly valid thing to enjoy this song for what it is. I'm just including that little tidbit because it's something that came to mind, but it does kind of affect my enjoyment of it somewhat. Because it has unsavory characteristics, I am inclined to rate it a bit lower. But even if that little tidbit wasn't real, I do think he has stronger ballads, even if it's performed well. Yeah, I mean, the melody as it is, it's kind of like it's a love it or hate it kind of melody, I think, due to the simplicity of it. Definitely a controversial song, but I'm not going to go too hard on it, even though I feel like I already have. I certainly didn't mean to. I'm not going to rate it unfairly. I'm going to more take the song as it is. I feel comfortable putting it above You Can't Win.
74.
Yeah, so it's kind of like right in the middle of the list. It's a very impactful song. It does stir the emotions in that way, so it's a solid number. The next song in question is Leave Me Alone. I think this song was originally left off the original track list on Bad, but eventually, I think it was left off of the vinyl, but it was included on the CD version when that was eventually released. And I'm glad, because this song rocks. Such a unique rhythm. It kind of hits you right away and grabs you. I really like the loud snare. I know I've complained about overly prominent snares a couple times, but I think on this song it just works because it's really hitting that message home. The lyrics in this song are pretty cool. I like the way they're written. They have a lot of attitude. I like the way they're delivered. And the chorus, of course, the harmonies in the chorus are just so epic. Lots going on there to enjoy. Yeah, this song is just a really cool, unique creation. I love the little weird solo with Mike and the synth pairing as the bridge. Very cool stuff, very creative. It's Michael Jackson at his finest, and this is a beloved favorite. I'm gonna put it above Tabloid Junkie
22.
and below Jam. And that's a really solid spot. All of the songs above it are so strong. This next song is another very interesting one. Will You Be There? What an adventure of a song this is. What a piece. And I say piece because, well, there is a classical piece at the very beginning to really set the mood. There's lots of different movements in this song. It's quite complex, full of emotion. It's bombastic, but not over the top. I don't think this song is cheesy. Some people might use that word to describe it, but to me, it's quite heartfelt. The drum beat, it's got a sort of tribal thing going on. The gospel choir brings a lot of spirituality and energy, and his ad-libs as the song ascends are just perfect. What a talent to elevate music in that way, the way that he does. Great bridge too, and just the main hook, the main melody is the simplicity is the genius of it. The spoken word part at the end is very well done. It's very sincerely performed and written. The backing instrumental behind that is just so stunning, so tasteful and gorgeous, with the strings and the humming choir. I have no words. So this song it really is just stunningly beautiful. Again, I might have to push down Butterflies, but those songs are so different, Ben, Gotta Be There, Childhood. This is tricky. This is very, very tricky. I feel like I'm going down too far, but when I look at the songs that are there, it's hard to push them down. Okay, I'll put it Avoid Tabloid Junkie.
23.
Yeah. Okay, at this point, I'm actually pretty certain of my number one choice. It might not be what you expect, but if you know what songs are left, you might be able to guess it. But apart from my number one choice, I'm not sure how the rest are going to be ordered. The next song is Smooth Criminal. This is a big one. This is major news. This is major stuff, and surely this one is going to be in the top 10. What's cool about this song is, again, we talked about Al Capone, which is a proto Smooth Criminal. But obviously what Smooth Criminal eventually became was something much more grand, dramatic, theatrical, and finessed. It's a perfect song. It's such a badass song. The contrast of the gritty verses with the falsetto chorus is very creative. The chorus itself, it's so quickly sung, the lyrics are so fast that it's like a rhythmic chorus, but also the chord progression invites a lot of drama. The bridge is also very, very funky with those guitar licks. The post-chorus section is kind of what it's known for, or pre-chorus also, you know. Annie, are you okay? Just iconic. What's interesting about this song is that I think Quincy Jones never liked it, and Michael really had to fight for this song to be on the Bad album, which is utterly shocking to me. And I'm glad he fought for it, because many people would place this at number one. So spoiler alert, I'm probably not going to put it at number one. It's not going to end up at number one, but it's going to end up pretty high. And I would probably place it below Man in the Mirror, or would I place it above Man in the Mirror? Yeah, I've changed my mind. This is where I think the song fits. Actually, I've changed my mind again. I'm going to do it. I'll do it.
1.
It hurts. It hurts to do that, but I have to be objective. Just considering how impactful the song is, how catchy it is, and how widely loved it is and stuff, it's hard to put it anywhere else in the context of the remaining songs. So at the moment, it's number one. The next song is Who Is It? We all love this song. Anyone who is like an intermediate Michael Jackson fan knows this song back to front, is obsessed with this song. Why is this song so underrated? Why doesn't this song get more attention? Whatever happened? And honestly, I don't know. I have a theory, which I'll get to, but the way this song is written is just so... You know, I've been here a while, I've talked about these songs a lot, so I'm running out of vocabulary to describe them. So forgive me if I use the same words as I've been using, but it really is just very creative, beautiful, haunting. This song is definitely like a haunting vibe. It does use the strings and the choirs more in a sort of dark haunting manner. The heavy bass line is addictive, really puts a nice contrast to the softer sounds that are used in it. I like the loud clicking sound in the percussion. Very curious mix of sounds that come together to create something that is very artistic. Just really stands out, especially in the Dangerous album. It is arguably the best song on Dangerous. Arguably. It was a single, yeah, it was a single, but it would not be something that the layperson would recognize. I don't think there's any single edits that exist of this song. It really does function more, and it works best as however long it is. I think it's about 6.5 minutes. I really enjoy how the chorus is repeated so many times towards the end, because it's not just for the sake of repetitiveness, but the strings and stuff are swelling the whole time, and his ad-libs are getting more intense, and he's really evoking that heartache. That's what makes it so powerful. That said, I do think the chorus is a little bit could be catchier. It's very simplistic, and that's a good thing, because there's so much else going on in the song. But if you're looking for an earworm, this chorus isn't really it. But at the same time, I do understand the function of the chorus within the context of the whole composition. All that being said, we gotta find a way to do this song justice by moving some of these guys aside. And I think I see where I'm gonna put it. So we're gonna put it here, right after Morphine.
12.
Is that a bit high, I wonder, for this song? No, I don't think it is. I think that's just right. I was considering there for a second, but that's correct. Okay, we have 3 songs left. I guess subconsciously I've left these songs till last because I know that they are really up there, and one of them is my number 1. The other 2 I'm still undecided as to where they're gonna go. The third last song is Black or White. This is another stone cold classic. Again, arguably the best song on Dangerous. Definitely the most famous and recognizable song from the Dangerous era. So incredibly catchy. The guitar riff is so ubiquitous. You hear it everywhere. The more heavy breakdown in the song is super sick as well. And I love the rap verse. The song is a sequence of a lot of different ideas that come together beautifully, and just the main hook, the main message is just immaculate. Yeah, this is a great track. It's definitely among his best. One thing I will say is that it might be a little bit joyful and sprightly for some listeners. Like, it's very overly joyful and sprightly. Obviously that's what the message is going for, but that is the only thing that I could see holding the song back in the eyes of some listeners. It might be a little bit too on the nose for some people, which is understandable, but I don't know how you can really argue with the impact that this song has had and how powerful the message is. As we're getting down to the wire here, this is really hard. I might be putting it a little farther down because I'm looking at songs like Dirty Diana and stuff, which I'm fairly convinced is a stronger track. Even Blood on the Dance Floor I think is pretty heavy hitting. Heartbreak Hotel has been getting a lot of passes for this whole ranking. I'm going to displace it just this one time.
22.
That seems like kind of far down for this song, but I think all things considered and all the songs in front of it, it works. Okay, it's time to reveal. There are only 2 songs left, so I might as well reveal my number 1 at this point. My number 1 is Earth Song.
1.
Yes, I know, Billie Jean. Billie Jean is Billie Jean, okay? I get it. But first of all, I don't even know if Billie Jean's going to be number 2. I don't know that. I don't know that yet. Earth Song is number 1 because it has everything. It encapsulates Michael Jackson's artistry perfectly, and it's a cohesive piece, immensely powerful, the message of it. The performance is so powerful. His vocals range from very soft, delicate, vulnerable, painful to outright anger, like a war cry, a cry of the gods. It's so freaking epic. There's nothing like it. He's never done anything like this across his entire discography. It is so godlike, honestly. I mean that in the best way possible. He just kills it. He absolutely kills the song. You can feel every emotion. Amazing range, amazing power, vocal technique. The chorus is very creative. There are no words. It's just lyricless melody, like the earth is crying, you know? The guitar work in this song is also really good, really tasteful, really adds to the atmosphere, the texture of it. You have the really chilling piano intro of the song. Even before that, the intro, the atmospheric intro is so chilling. It really feels like the Earth's song. And the gospel choir is so like, oh my God, I have no words. The repetition of that lyric, the energy from the choir is so wild, and then his howls at the very end is just like the cherry on top. You know, obviously he hit peaks like this in terms of bombast and epicness, like with Man in the Mirror, but with this song he really hit that darker emotion, that urgency, that like, oh, we really have to get something done here, we really have to change, this can't go on. It's like a war cry, really, fighting for change, you know, to protect the planet. Yeah, it's emotional, it's a roller coaster, it's perfection. It's his best song ever, and I'm pretty certain about that. Not to put words in your mouth, but my assumption is that a lot of people would prefer his lighter stuff, a nice simple dance beat that you can dance to or jam in the car. That to you is what defines a good song, and that is obviously a totally valid feeling. People should be entitled to enjoy music however they want, judge it however they want. I just think that this song, Earth Song, is really just the peak of his achievements musically He put everything into it, and it just all culminates in this zenith, I guess is the word, of his artistry. I think I've ranted about this for long enough, but it's important to me to to make the argument as to why this song deserves the number one spot. All that being said, let's bring in the elephant in the room, Miss Billie Jean, and she is a saucy one. She is very, very saucy, and she deserves respect because she is good. Billie Jean is a song that Quincy Jones described it very well one time, where he said that Billie Jean is basically a song that's full of hooks. It's like hooks back to front. When you think about it, it's like, okay, the bass line. Well, first of all, the drum beat when the song opens up, that's a hook, that's iconic. When the bass comes in, that's a hook, that's catchy. The do, 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 that's another hook. Obviously you have the chorus, all the little parts in the verses. It's all very hooky, very catchy. Even the bridge, the guitar riff in the bridge is so catchy and hook-like. There's so much to grab your ear and hold your attention. I don't know where the inspiration came from for this song, but I can totally understand its impact. There's nothing like it. How do you even describe the atmosphere of this song? I think the video was very well done because it captures the mood very well. It's very like urban city, like dark urban city, sort of like, I don't know, Sin City, right? You know that movie Sin City? You kind of feel like you're in this ghost town. There's a little bit of melancholy and stuff, but at the same time there's a party and you're like, maybe I'll have a good time and forget all this sadness and stuff. The subject matter of the song is interesting. The inspiration for the lyrics is certainly interesting, about apparently a girl who accused Michael of being the father of her child. That obviously turned out not to be true at all. Hey, I guess we don't know, but yeah, this song is a classic. It obviously changed his career forever. It's hard to say, but it seems like this song is the one that really set him on the path to becoming the most famous person of all time. It was either this song or Thriller that really started that stratospheric trajectory. It's hard to judge this song objectively because me personally, it's never been one of my absolute favorites. I rarely play this song, and I think it has a lot to do with that thing where, you know, it is played everywhere, right? It's on every radio station. If you go to a friend's house, they have it on their playlist. Whether someone is a Michael Jackson fan or not, they'll just automatically have it on some playlist because it's kind of like a comfort background music, background noise to them. It's hard because that's why it's not one of my favorites, because usually when I say something is my favorite, it elicits some kind of intense emotion out of me. This song certainly does when I pay close attention, but for some reason, it's never drawn me back to it repeatedly, and I've never become obsessed like I have with some of his other tracks, like Smooth Criminal or They Don't Care About Us. For some reason, that's just me personally. But of course, I am aware that it at least deserves a spot in the top 5, okay? And I guess where it belongs to me, okay, this is the final placement. This is hard. This is really hard. I think I'm really gonna put my bias aside here and I'm gonna put it after Smooth Criminal.
3.
Just knowing what we know about this song, if I were to go by my own taste, personally, it would be much farther down. It would be after Man in the Mirror, but I know that's insanity. I won't do that. This is good. This makes sense to me. This makes a lot of sense. So now it's time to do our final spot check to see if there's anything that we would change at the last minute, or if we really genuinely feel good about this order. I'm sure we're going to find a couple things that look a little bit questionable. I think it's safe enough to start from the start. How do we feel about the top 10? I mean, that's a pretty solid top 10 if you ask me. I like how Remember the Time is in the top 10. That's something I didn't expect. You could almost switch Remember the Time and Bad, but I wouldn't do that personally. I do suspect that Morphine might be the most controversial placement still, but you know, I've given my reasons for that. Maybe Another Part of Me is a bit high. What's it worse than? Okay, Another Part of Me is getting moved here.
24.
PYT seems a bit low, but honestly so does Scream. Wanna Be Starting Something might be a bit high. Even though it has a lot of merits, it wouldn't be as strong as some of the songs that are surrounding it. Like, I feel it could swap places with Baby Be Mine. It's such a weird song, Wanna Be Starting Something, you know? It's got that infectious groove to it, but maybe... Okay, I'm gonna do something crazy. This song, yes, it's good, but we gotta put it lower. I'm sorry. It just doesn't have the amount of merit as some of these other songs. So I'm gonna place it here.
28.
Yeah. Okay, I feel better about that. I really am curious to know how mad people are gonna be at me for all this. I wanna be where you are. I think this can go lower, like here.
69.
And this time around could probably go lower, much lower, right here.
65.
Hollywood Tonight seems to be placed very high, but that's only because I have doubts about the production and stuff. But I'm pretty adamant that that's a great song, so I'm gonna leave it. And Why is very high on the list for what is really just a minor collaboration. I do really like Why, but I wouldn't put it up that high. I'd put it just below The Lost Children.
92.
Yeah. I'm sure people will think that Off the Wall is down there quite low as well, but honestly, I'm confident in the placement. Unbreakable is down there pretty low as well, but I think that placement works. People of the World is up there quite high. I'm gonna move that down. It's definitely better than Girlfriend though. I'll put it right here.
104.
By the way, I apologize for this situation with the spacing and stuff. It looks kind of ugly, but there's nothing I can do about it. So I'll fix it for the final view of the final list. Yeah, I think the top 100 is pretty solid. I'm actually gonna put For All Time higher though. For All Time should be above Why at least.
92.
I guess it's kind of crazy that I Just Can't Stop Loving You isn't making the top 100, but I said what I said. I think Do You Know Where Your Children Are should be lower, right here.
131.
Cry and Don't Walk Away are down so far. I know people are going to have a problem with that. I just find those songs to be so uninteresting. Like even Days in Gloucestershire and She's Trouble and Nightline, they all have little moments of interest and intrigue that Cry and Don't Walk Away don't have. Okay. Yeah. Alright, that's it. Wow. Thank you for joining me on this journey. This was so much fun. Oh my god, I really enjoyed this. I'm very happy with this list. Okay, now it's time for discussion. I'm dying to hear what you guys feel about this, and if you think I did his discography justice. God, I sure hope I didn't forget any song. I don't think I did. I did my best not to. If I did forget something, just let me know in the comments and I'll let you know where it would have gone. After I'm done with my spiel here, I'll do a little graphic at the very end that will show the entire list just so you can see more clearly where every song was placed. And that's about it. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And again, please check out my music project Valcata. I'll leave links in the description for you to check us out. Also, let me know what other content you might like to see from me. Any thoughts you have at all on this list, what you would have changed, what you think I did well, please let me know. It's always fun to discuss these things, even if we disagree. You know, it's fun to talk about our favorite artist and the amazing work that he created and remember him. So that's about it. Have a good rest of your day or night, and thank you so much. Bye.